after a long delay, it's finally here. Well, after a long delay due to a historic winter storm, we're finally back to some Southwestern football. The Pirates take on the toughest opponent on the schedule, which was originally scheduled to be their last opponent, now their second opponent of a four-game season before the playoffs get going. I'm Carl Soder and Chuck Posey. Happy you guys joined us. We're going to pause here for the national anthem before Southwestern takes on University of Mary Hardin Baylor.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America playing for our national anthem is the Black Shirt Crew Spirit Band under the direction of Mike Rossi. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
A nicely done rendition of the national anthem by the Crusaders marching band, who is out here. And Chuck, it's good to see a marching band, good to see a football field. Even though it's spring, we're happy that we are finally getting back going here with Southwestern football. It's been a long 2.5 weeks, hasn't it?
It has been a long 2.5 weeks. It's cold. At least initially, the first 7-8 days was very cold. Then it got hot again, and now we're back to rain and a slightly cold. At least we also have spectators today. The Southwestern fans are able to be in the stadium here at the campus of the University of Mary Hardin Baylor, and they've come out in a decent amount of force for the Pirates.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to
Pirates
midfield.
finally happy to get back to football, as the winter storm in the entire Georgetown area seemed to hit the Southwestern campus the hardest. On SU Football Weekly with Joe Austin, he was discussing how some of the players needed to relocate because of just how the storm was going. Obviously, power concerns, floods, the entire
pipes breaking.
Pipes breaking. So many things going on that changed the way that Pirates had to just do things atypically. So it looks like the coin toss is won by the Pirates.
Are number 2, Jefferson Fritz, number 16, Tony Bell, 25, Bobby Hackett, 65, Steve Soldiers.
On the field.
It looks like
then Brockman, the linebacker, who will do the coin toss, and Southwestern, I believe, deferred there and elected to also take the south end zone. Double check that. Didn't quite catch it.
I'm not really sure. That's exactly what it may have been. Mary Hardin Baylor who won and deferred to the second.
We'll see what happens here. As I don't think the officials gave us the clear signals there, but
They did not.
it is all good. We are just happy that they're calling. You know what? That's something that'll happen. We'll find out in just a moment. Just a minute away from him to get it shot done.
Well, this game was Coach Austin, the first coaching show that they've been through so much to reach this point to play a game. And it's fortunate that they had that experience because they got to get the first game out of the way. Unfortunately, it was a loss to East Texas Baptist, but they had to experience more drama and more hardship before they could get back out here again, and it was a full 2 weeks.
Yeah, and very fortunately for us and the football team, they will reschedule those 2 games, Louisiana College and Belhaven, that were missed. And, you know, of all the things, Chuck, not COVID that delayed something 2 weeks, but the NSC decided that, you know, these guys worked way too hard to get to have a winter storm ruin things.
Just to cancel their 2 games. That would be unfortunate. And of course, the Pirates taking on probably their 2 toughest opponents now in their first 2 games. Texas Baptist, quality opponent, and of course, University of Mary Hardin Baylor, whose reputation precedes them.
Absolutely, one of the best teams in Division III football, as Coach Joe Austin said on SU Football Weekly, one of the blue bloods of college football, and it does look like the Crusaders did defer.
But they're going to be receiving.
Or excuse me, they are going to receive. So I think my guess of the Pirates deferring was correct. We had to kind of go based off the body language of the players more so than the officials.
Hopefully they'll do a better job.
They always do a great job down here. Britton Martin back deep to receive this opening kickoff from Wilbur, as well as Jefferson Fritz. It out from the 35-yard line. It's overcast and misty. Much better than the forecast had projected all fall.
One of those returns, 27 KJ Miller.
KJ Miller, 7-2. And over in will actually be taken by one of them. Left side, brought down the and line is where the Crusaders start. Austin said it. The first are pretty special, and that's a pretty solid job to make sure the return is limited.
And of course, the Pirates will have an opportunity to set the tone defensively here against a very talented and coaches very hard to play for offense.
Tommy Bowden out. Back. Malik Hamilton side sending shooter on the right out of the shotgun, first and 10 from the 32, zone read, and a handoff to Hamilton on the stretch to the right side and takes down the right side. It's about 5 yards on first down.
That was number 38 on the stop for the Pirates, Major George, the linebacker, after a middle kick.
From the right hash mark this time. Bowden in the shotgun, everybody in tight formation. Play action, roll out to the right end, quick throw to the right side for the top, and Miller gets the 40. So this time, the Pirates territory over the Crusaders on the quick out round.
They're in the area of coverage, gave them a little bit too much of a cushion. So it was able to get
on the tackle for the judgment.
Another tight formation here. Miller goes into the slot on the left side. Hamilton in the shotgun, or excuse me, Bowden in the shotgun. There'll be a pass over to the right side, and Miller, who came from the left side, makes a But
That's into his helmet.
yeah, that wasn't really nice.
Spun as he was hitting the ground, was taking the ball into keep it off of the ground.
Trips left, two men in the backfield with Tommy Bowden. Bowden will have a play action in a bubble screen out to the left side. Will game picks up another Crusaders first down to about the 25-yard line.
Brockman making sure he gets out of bounds there and keep him from heading down that left sideline.
I guess they will mark him just a yard short, so 2nd-1. Bowden, another tight formation, two receivers on both sides. He'll let Anderson take up to the stretch to the left side.
That's another Crusader.
Great job of stretching, but he's still able to get enough for the first down.
First quarter, Crusaders on the opening drive, but they more of a spread offense here. Coach Hamilton moves the running back to the left, and he'll get the give. Follows his yard hole that was created. He gets across the 15 to about the 13-yard line for a small game there. And
Brockman there defensively along with number 50, Alex Garcia.
In 4th place, take down 6.
2nd and 6.
Ball 13-yard line.
Down from the 13-yard line in the shotgun. Miller and Martin to his left, and he'll roll out to the left side. He's going to tuck him in the run. I would assume that's not on any pirate out there, and it saves the touchdown. Sometimes that's how you get a touchdown in the legal block.
That was a great read out of think of a bucket to no longer.
And it takes the Crusaders out of the red zone and puts them behind the chains.
Man, 24. Let's get all the way to the 7-yard line.
They'll take their time here, and on the hit ball play clock line down 15 seconds. They're finally ready to go. Right. Harry Stadium. And motion is Miller, but instead Hamilton will get the handoff. And Pirates aren't cool there as they all collapse on him on the left side.
Great team defense there, leading the way. The defensive tackle, Avila junior set from
3rd down and 15.
3rd and 15, an opportunity for the Pirates to get a good stop here on what was a touchdown call back thanks to an illegal block by Crusaders. On the 22-yard line. Bowden will change the play here as he sees the Pirate defense make a couple of adjustments. Zone read and it's play action. The lefty drops back to now Baylor Tucker and saved by the line of scrimmage. Also in the end zone. That was a touchdown. No, that was, I was at the original line of scrimmage that passed behind the cross line scrimmage. I thought so. That's an eagle, and that touchdown, another one taken off, and fans can stop and use it.
Well, that was great defensive play by the Pirates to keep Bowden from moving forward and picking up more yardage on with his legs. They forced that throw by closing in on him.
Because he really didn't want to kind of tuck it in fun. He decided last minute, even though he crossed the line of scrimmage. And that's what I thought, and I wasn't quite sure here. There will be a shift as Bowden is the holder, taking over. Sends that one to 89, thank you so much. 89. What number, though? It's what's up. The kicker that we on the depth chart here. The points kicker, it may be the distance kicker. There you go. So, no worries, as we get rolling here. 10:54 left to play in the first. Michael Francis, the producer. We on air? We looking good? All right. Thank you both, our camera operator, Yaki Balban, and the second camera angle, which we hope to get at some point here, too.
We can't be pretty happy if the defensive players for the Pirates, they were able to minimize the damage that dropped. And despite two plays that crossed the goal line, they did so illegally. Both of those came back. They were obvious penalties.
I get the feeling it might be a little arena football style today if it rolls aside.
That's 8 high for a chance to win some alumni prize packages. Be announced at halftime as you claim their prize on the side for more information.
Norris back deep to receive his kickoff. As the kicker, Anthony Avila, will send this one away. Then over in, taken by Cassier after 5. Around the 15, spins away from some pressure and brought down as the other on Mike 16.
He had an opening there on the right side, was trying to get to it, couldn't quite get his feet set to get the spin to get towards that opening. The coverage for the Crusaders able to close that. They were restricted here to open the game.
First against Southwestern, 16.
Gilpin, the sophomore cornerback.
That's it.
Out of the pistol. There's Jennings behind him. And Jennings will get the first give as he cuts behind his center and gets past the line of scrimmage. Gets to the 19-yard line for a solid gain on first down.
And he just came to his way where the home game open and 4 yards. Blocking on the right side there.
10:27 left in the first quarter. Fox moving thanks to the running play. 2nd and 7. Gain of 3 from Jennings. He's in the pistol with Gilpin and an option run to the left side. Gilpin decides to keep it and gets at 20.
Quarterback keeper for the Pirates, number 12,
Drake Johnson. You know, Gilpin, tough kid. That's a big hit there from Johnson.
Well, he didn't have much option. You know, it was an option to play to that side, but the very hard Baylor defense, great job of covering each of his options. So the only choice he had was to go forward. Shot to do so. They will pick up 2 now.
35. Pirates are going to pick up the down. Stevens right. Fullback.
31, they tackled the box.
Not able to get
All the way
past
back to
the
the
defense.
14.
They were stunned there on the front of their defensive line and were able to get into the backfield quickly, almost to the point of
It's worth it.
tough to convert on 35 when they're in the back.
Exactly. Will Hurts will punt this one away from the goal line.
2 Turner, Miller, the other Jefferson Fritz.
Very little wind this afternoon, a little rugby style kickoff, the left foot of Hurts, and a good coverage as it'll be taken by Miller and Little down at the 40-yard line. Yeah, that's how you practice it, exactly. You get a nice little hang time for your defensive bottom up and backtrack a little bit to
Patrick Nicholas there leading the charge for the Pirates on that cover. He did a great job preventing Miller, who's obviously returners, receiver type players. They prevent him from getting any momentum going.
Crusaders take over with 8:35 left to play in the first quarter. They have a 3-0 lead, and Bowden comes back out for the second possession of the first quarter for Mary Hardin Baylor. Two receivers stacked on the far left side from the right hash mark in the zone replay action to throw down and unable to break away from the
That's Tony Bowden again.
Jackson Reese there providing that great coverage. Blading Daniel all the way down the length of that route.
Ball right there on 40-yard line.
Really forced Bowden to overthrow it because there was nothing there.
8:30 left to play in the first, and the clock stops on the trips left single receiver to the right. Hamilton gets the give, tries to go around his left tackle, but he was swallowed up and not going anywhere. Defensive stop, they Jason run.
Also there, Brian Estrada, the defensive end, number 52. Great job by the Pirate defense this series in their early two plays. We'll see if they can cut this drive off here before they even pick up the first down.
Starts here on a 3rd and 11. Down the side, he runs the ball on the right side. Ball doesn't get though, as he got it down just at the yard to gain. And it's up right there for the Pirates. Could have easily been 4th down and 1 or maybe a fumble, but they recovered, as you mentioned, Ray coming in on that football with slick.
Tommy Bowden as he picks up the first down on that scramble.
Hand off to the new running back in, and he finds some lead as he goes.
That's another Crusader. That was number 22, Mike Chandler Butler, freshman quarterback.
5'9", 225. That is quite a bit of weight on that carry.
Montana Miller will stay in the game as the back to the left of Bowden. Bowden on play action. This time, left to the left. Goes towards the end zone. He has an open receiver who fumbles the catch.
That's another really close play there. Getting his fingertips on the pass. Bowden puts a little more under that pass. That's a touchdown.
LaMelo Cook almost got the 6 points for the Crusaders. Instead, it brings up second down. The clock stops at 7:08 here in the first quarter.
Timeout.
And officials will talk things over.
Is there going to be a timeout, or is it just they just need to get a player off the field? They're going to wind the clock here. Back to 2nd and 10. 6. Bowden, the quarterback. Maxwell with him. 52 on pistol formation. Bowden takes the nose, rolls to his right. Puts deep down the left sideline. His pass is complete to number 7. 10-1.
Anthony Avila out of Troy, Texas. Right up the highway here. A couple of exits, actually. Hold is down and kick is up, and it's good. And the Crusaders extend the lead to 10-0 with 6:47 remaining here in the first period.
Well, we apologize about the technical difficulties. We think we got it straightened out with our audio, and we're happy that you guys tuned in here to this Mary Hardin Baylor versus Southwestern broadcast. We are the Southwestern Pirates broadcast. I'm Carl Schoening along with Chuck Cracy. Thanks for taking over there for a moment, Chuck, without skipping a beat. And the Crusaders definitely a little lucky on that drive that it didn't result in a fumble early on, and then they take advantage by finding the end zone on the touchdown. And you know, the Pirates obviously don't want to play behind, so the quicker they get back on, the quicker they get on the scoreboard, the better here. And They were 3 and out on their last offensive drive, and they'd like to start getting some momentum on that side of the ball.
Definitely, and we've seen games with the Crusaders where they're up by 3 scores by now on teams, and so the Pirates not in too deep of a hole, but they need to answer offensively in order to keep that from getting too far out of control, too far out of reach. Avila to kick off for the Crusaders here.
Back deep to receive are Castilleja and Norris as they wait near the goal line. Avila takes the charge from 10 yards and sends this one end over end deep. It will be taken by Castilleja at around the 13-yard line. He cuts to the numbers on the left side, gets around the 20-yard line, and will be brought down at about the 22.
That was great coverage by the Crusaders. Jefferson Fritz there picking up the tackle for the coverage team on the Crusader side, but a decent enough return. The Pirates are beyond the 20 here, and they have some breathing room. They just got to execute here offensively. Always comes down to execution.
That is the name of the game here in football. We were talking about it on SU Football Weekly Wednesdays at 6 o'clock on SHN Sports, where, you know, there's so many moving parts, 22 players out there, and one player can make the difference, and everybody needs to still do their job.
Takes all 11 when you're on the field to execute.
6:43 left to play in the first quarter. Pirates back on the football field, and it'll be a end around and eaten up on the play for the Pirates is Adrian Garza as he got the handoff, and then he was eaten up right away.
Big number 93 for the Crusaders, Sante Parker Jr. there. 6'1", 235-pounder out of Katy High School. Used to championship football. You come from Katy, go to Mary Hardin Baylor. And he showed it there on that play.
That puts the Pirates 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Better to play ahead of the chains.
2nd and 15. 2 receivers on both sides. Gilpin will give a handoff to
having a
Dawson.
tough time with that D-line. That was Dawson Gonzalez.
Dawson Gonzalez, and yeah, that's what the coach said is that this defense is monster. Dare I say, purple people eaters style.
It is similar to the teams of the Vikings in the 70s.
They know how to get into the backfield and really disrupt the offense.
Well, they keep going backwards here. The Pirates do. They got to find something forward.
3rd and 8. And it'll be Gilpin who will try to run it and gets back to the initial line of scrimmage, maybe about a yard or more, give or take, and that'll bring up 4th down, and the punting unit will come out.
It was a decent gain. Gilpin took off running, but Micah Hackett dropped off of the receiver he was covering and prevented any significant gain. Gilpin only able to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Need a big kick here from Will Herbst. Back is Miller.
4:50 left to play in the first, as Miller and Fritz are back here to receive this Herbst kick. And the rain really starting to pick up here, and they'll go unless there's a lightning strike.
And there is a timeout. Yeah, I believe there was a timeout called to prevent the delay.
So the punt will come here after the first timeout taken by either team comes from the Pirates. They trail 10-0. And during this break, have an opportunity to just kind of discuss the new updated schedule, as obviously next week will be the bye week, the scheduled bye week for the Pirates. And then moving on down the road, we get back to the Louisiana College game the next week. That will be the 13th. And then the 20th will be the Belhaven game. And then I believe the 27th is the playoff game scheduled to be determined who does what exactly. And it looks like the sun's now starting to come out a little bit, as we still have
typical Texas.
Yeah, we still have some rain happening, but the sun might dry up some of that rain.
We'll see.
Fritz and Miller back deep to receive this kick from the punt from Herbst. He'll take one step into it, and he gets it off the side of his foot. This will probably bounce at the 47 and then out of bounds.
It's going to end up right about where they started their last series, the Crusaders, and it's the same area that Herbst punted before, prevented Miller from even catching that one, got it on the sideline, bounced out of bounds.
You know, he was Special Teams Player of the Week in the ASC the last time that the Pirates played. Thanks to his punting, as he even could have had more punts. I think he had 4 for 151 yards.
Right.
In this particular case, he sends this one where they can't return it, and also gives them gives his defense some decent field behind him from the 42-yard line.
Considering where the offense left off, that's not bad.
Bauman in the shotgun. Gives to Hamilton. Hamilton follows his blockers on the left side. He has Norris to try and shake off, and Norris gets his hands on him first, and then cleaning up the play
It's
for
Easton
the Pirates.
Failer there coming up quickly to make sure that the running backs dropped.
Only a gain of 1.
Did a great job of ensuring that the running back, Hamilton, taken down to the ground and minimal gain, just 1 yard.
3:52 left to play in the first. Bowden in the shotgun on 2nd and 9 will give to Hamilton. They try the same play to the right side this time, and he's brought down from behind by Ben Brockman.
Brockman lost his lid. He'll have to take a play off.
That's what the officials are waving their hands about, I believe, here, as the clock will stop at 3:55 to give him an opportunity to exit the field.
Hamilton able to pick up 4 yards on that play to make this a manageable 3rd down for the Crusaders.
Third and 6. Bowden in the shotgun, 2 men in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right. It'll be a pass play as Bowden connects with his receiver at midfield. He makes a couple defenders miss, gets across the 45, and then is dragged to the 40-yard line as Kadarius Daniels makes the catch and picks up the Crusader first down.
That was all Daniels there after the catch. He made sure he put a move on the Pirate defender and was able to pick up enough for the first down, plus a few more. Pirates, number 23, Jackson Reese, having to come off.
Yeah, when he kind of wrapped up on the tackle, you talk about that slick field. You can see all the skid marks out there, and I think that maybe the kind of slickness of the turf made him have to do a little bit of a knee twist to save a even more serious injury, kind of from what I saw from my angle, so hopefully he's okay.
There's all kinds of tendons and ligaments in your leg, and if you're not well enough in your flexibility, you could cause an injury on a field like this very easily.
Gary Ruckman is the fullback. Hamilton is the running back, and Bowden will have a play action. A pass deep down on the go route is intercepted.
Great job of turning around and staying in position and concentrating on that catch. That's Jules Williams, the 5'9", 155-pound junior out of South Grand Prairie High School. The Pirates come up with the first turnover today.
And, you know, we were talking about it on the previous drive for the Crusaders that resulted in a touchdown. It may be if the officials had kind of had the NFL rules where you can review every turnover, they probably would have whistled that play dead after the fumble recovered by the Pirates. Said they blew it dead after the first down picked up by the Crusaders. So here they are coming up with the real first turnover of the day on that interception inside the 10.
At least official turnover.
Exactly. Yeah. First and 10 from the 9.
They do have their back against the goal line again, and they need positive plays. One at a time. Move it slowly down the field.
Jennings is the tailback, and he'll get the give from Gilpin, and he tried to go to the right side. I think he got right back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
It wasn't much, maybe a half a yard there on the right side. Good penetration by the Crusader D-line. But 1 yard plus is better than 3 yards negative.
Exactly.
Which is what happened in the last series.
Try and stay ahead of the chains. That's the name of the game. 2:18 left to play in the first. Gilpin in the pistol. Jennings behind him. will fake the handoff and then follow Jennings and stumble across the 10-yard line. I think he got to about the 13 for a short gain.
Micah Hackett out of Alito, Texas, making sure he didn't get any more than that on that keeper. It's third and manageable, though. They need about 6.5, maybe 7 yards here. We'll see if they open up the air attack.
Play clock down to 15 as Gilpin and the Pirates huddle breaks. 3rd and 7. Option play as he pitches it to Jennings, and it's a fumble that is recovered inside the 5 and trying to roll into the end zone and say that he got the touchdown, and it will be a touchdown. I didn't quite see who picked it up.
Jaden Smith, number 11, the defensive back out of Killeen Ellison.
You know, I think somebody, if I'm
there
not
was
mistaken,
an attempt
it was
initially.
Jake, I think it was Drake Johnson who actually grabbed it, realized that he was going to be whistled down inside the 5, and then he pushed it to the eventual would-be scorer, Jaden Smith. So I think that's kind of what happened right there.
Or the ball was wet and he couldn't quite tuck it.
We'll go with that, too, as the potential there. And the fumble recovered for a touchdown makes it 16-10 before the point after with 1:20 left to play in the first. The kick is through the uprights and good from Avila, and that'll make it 17-0. 1:20 left to play in the first quarter, and, you know, it's kind of Murphy's Law at the moment. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. The Pirates get a turnover and will take over inside the 9 on the interception, and then they turn it over on the option play. And we were talking about how slick that football is. That perhaps could have been the reason why Jennings couldn't quite secure the catch, and then why a couple of Crusader defenders weren't able to secure the fumble, and it ended up in the end zone for a touchdown.
The pitch was a little behind Jennings. It hit him on his back shoulder, and I'm not 100% sure he was ready for it at that point in the play's progression. But it did bounce off of his shoulder pad and went straight on the ground there inside the 5. And of all the teams that you cannot afford to give easy points to, the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders are on the top of that list. And they will make you pay, as they did.
Castilleja and Norris are back deep to receive this ensuing kickoff from Avila. No media timeouts here in Division III football as Avila takes a 10-yard charge, and it's end over end, and waving for the fair catch is Castilleja, and I believe that'll put him at the 25.
Yeah, that's a wise play there by Castilleja. He's tried a couple of different returns, and the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusader kick coverage team has just been up to the task today. They prevented any significant gains on the kickoffs, kick returns. We'll see if the Pirate offense can get a little heated up here right after making that mistake.
1:20 left to play in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for Southwestern on the 25-yard line. 2 receivers on both sides. Jennings is the fullback who makes the block for Gilpin, who runs the other way and takes it across the 30. Gets to about the 32 before he is wrapped up and brought down. The stop being made by Sinet Parker Jr.
Jefferson Fritz also there defensively for the Crusaders, but it was a nice gain by Gilpin on the right side. He saw a little bit of a soft spot, and he took advantage of it right there on the right side.
Under a minute to play in this first quarter. Nice solid gain of 7 yards brings up 2nd and 3. 2 receivers on both sides for Gilpin. As a blitz is being shown by the Crusaders, here it comes. Gilpin will try and tuck it the other way, and he might have gotten to the 29-yard line. It'll be a loss and bring up 3rd down for the Pirates.
Big Cody Giles, the former Gobbler there defensively for the Crusaders. He was able to get by his designated blocker and get into the backfield and prevent any kind of development of that play.
10 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. I think the Pirates are interested in getting a playoff here on 3rd and 6. Gilpin will hand it off. Staying on his feet is Dawson Gonzalez, and he gets across the 30 and is just short of the first down. And That'll be the end of the first quarter, so it'll be 4th down when we come back here on SHN Sports.
That hole opened up, but it closed almost as quickly as it opened up there. Number 51, Kevon Shepard, to make the stop for the Crusaders.
Well, we think that was a pretty eventful first quarter. It's good to have football back after that 2-week delay, Chuck. And, you know, if you could say that the Pirates could maybe do one thing, what would it be?
Well, they're going to have to do a little better job in the trenches, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They've held their own defensively in the trenches so far, but on the offensive side of the ball, they're being dominated by that front of the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders. And they're outsized. It's a 3-man front, but the Crusaders linebackers have been able to flow and make plays on the outside of the tackle boxes very easily because the 3 there in the middle have been able to plug it all up. Herp's going to punt this here, 4th and 3.
Fritz and Miller back deep to receive this punt, waiting around the 35-yard line. And a false start here against the Pirates, I believe.
It is signal early as a false start, although that would have been fortunate to get a first down with an offsides. But no, it is a false start.
So making this punt a little bit harder for Will Herbst. It moves back to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, he's going to need to get his foot into this one pretty well, or else the Crusaders are going to have an even better starting position than they have for the last couple of possessions.
Now Herbst will try the punt again. Takes one step into it and wobbles this one. A fair catch called for by Fritz at the 45-yard line, and that's pretty good field positioning for the Crusaders. And, you know, we were talking about it on, again, SU Football Weekly. It's really a big factor that the defense keeps the opposing offense, for the Crusaders defense, keeps the opposing offense from getting across midfield.
Sure.
And then that creates short fields ensuing. And that's why you don't really see Bowden putting up eye-popping stats despite maybe the touchdown totals.
Well, and they offensively, you want to flip the field every time you possess it at the very least. So you want, if you gain possession inside your own 10, you want to at least drive it out to about midfield so that your punt can flip the field for your defense.
Bowden will fake the handoff, roll out to the right, and he shakes off one tackle, has some room to run across the 50, the 40, and he's pushed out of bounds inside Pirate territory at around the 36-yard line.
Patrick Nicholas making sure he gets down after he made a good move initially to get out into the open and pick up a nice gain. I believe that was Jackson Reese he was able to get by.
Three receivers to the left, 2 men in the backfield with Bowden. He'll hand it off to Hamilton, and he gets hit by a couple Pirates before the rest join in on the fun, and it's a loss of 1 for Hamilton.
Peyton Ludeman there coming up quickly from his safety position to make a stop. Or check that. That was actually number 17, Alexander Gomez there from McAllen on the tackle. Not 11, it was 17. He's out there with Brockman playing linebacker.
2nd and 11 for the Crusaders. Miller goes in motion right to left. Play clock down to 5 as Bowden takes a low snap, and he'll drop back for a pass. Over to his left side, he loses the ball. It's a fumble, and it's recovered by the Pirates, and the ball's slipping out a little bit here as they had it for a moment, and now there's a pile, and you never know what's going to happen there. It did look like they would have it before the pile really got messy. We'll see.
It looks like they still have it, and they do. Coming out of the pile, number 5 with the football, that's the senior linebacker, Ben Brockman.
What a play there by the Pirates to get pressure on Bowden, and then in the throwing motion, make sure they got it before it was an incompletion, and now a turnover, the second turnover forced by the Pirates today.
Yeah, they knocked the ball out of his hand as soon as he cocked it before that arm came forward at all. It bounced right off of another player and into a Southwestern player's hand, but then it bounced out of his hand onto the ground. Brockman able to get into the pile on the bottom there and pull it out. That's the second turnover for the Pirates here today. They need to capitalize, though. You have to turn those into points.
Gilpin on the play action will have time to throw. Gets across the middle, caught by Cossier at the 45 in Crusader territory. Gets a good block down the right sideline. He tiptoes it, stays on across the 10. 5, end zone, touchdown, Pirates.
What a play. Great effort by Costilla. He came across, he made separation on his defender, made a great catch, and then he picked up a block here on the right sideline. I didn't see who made the block, but he tiptoed right down the sideline for the score. Great answer. Pirates on the board.
13-19 left to play in the first half, and the Pirates get their first touchdown of the afternoon.
And the Pirate faithful are rowdy. Great effort by Costilleja. Showed good speed on the sideline and good awareness of where he is to stay in bounds right along the Mary Hardin Baylor sideline.
Herbst will kick this one off. It's blocked. Flags come in on the play, and I get the feeling that's going against the Crusaders.
Probably going to be offsides. That was probably what enabled them to get a hand in there and get it on the football. Illegal substitution. Well, that'll make it a little closer, but Earps needs to put a little under it.
Coleman Kerr, the holder. Earps will, have to try this one again, a little closer this time.
Going to have to shore that middle up there on the line on this attempt.
The snapper, Lee Piles. The holder, Coleman Kerr. The kick from Will Herbst is true, and this time it's a score for the Pirates, as the last time it was a block thanks to a penalty, and now the Pirates have cut the Crusader lead to 10, 13-9. Let's go back to that scoring play, Chuck, as it was a perfect pass from Gilpin, who was under pressure. The pocket was collapsing. He had to rotate a little bit. Good pocket awareness by him. Then he hit Costilleja in stride. Costilleja knew where he was going and cut across that right sideline, and after he followed his blocks, made a couple defenders miss. It was nothing but green in front of him.
Well, and the one blocker caused 3 Crusaders to slow their pursuit down and prevented them from really cutting Costilleja off on that right sideline. So great effort. Again, I missed the number, but when Nate goes back in its film study time, he'll get a lot of credit from the coaches there. Great effort to ensure Costilleja had an opportunity to take it all the way, and he took that opportunity and cashed it in.
I'd like to thank all 191 of y'all watching at the moment here as the Pirates get on the scoreboard at 17-10, 13-19 left to play in the first half. And, sometimes that's all you need is one big play to really open up the floodgates, find some momentum.
Momentum, it can be fickle, but the Pirates have it at the moment. Now the defense needs to feed off of that and continue to play at a pretty high level like they have to this point.
Martin and Miller back deep to receive this kick from Will Herbst. Sends this one short. It'll be taken by one of the Upmen. No fair catch called inside the 30, and he'll get to the 35 before he's brought down. And on the return was Eli Hurton.
I think it was Kenneth Cormier.
Excuse me, Kenneth Cormier.
Yeah, 5'10", 225-pound linebacker. Probably wasn't expecting the football there, but he did something with it, was able to return it for about 8 yards.
It seems to be Herbst's kind of game plan here. Don't let the speedy guys get the ball. Let the kind of bigger, bulkier ones get it. And even though you're giving them a bit more of a short field, you're not letting them have those home run plays.
Well, Miller and Daniels will hurt you on the offense. There's no reason to give them the opportunity to do so in special teams. Bowden takes the snap, hands to the running back, number 10, Malik Hamilton, straight ahead. He gets maybe 2 yards, maybe 1.
13:05 left to play as the clock gets rolling here. I think it is a gain of 2 there for Hamilton.
Grant Mitchell there defensively for the Pirates, the big 6 foot, 315-pound senior in the middle.
Bowden again will play action, bootleg to the left,
Great
and he is
play.
brought down.
That was a great effort by Bernard Century, the 5'11 linebacker. He kind of eased his way into the backfield, and when he saw that the handoff didn't occur, he wrapped up Bowden and just threw him down for a big loss.
Clock keeps moving at 12:30 left to play in the first. And it's 3rd and 18. Big opportunity for the Pirates to get their defense off the field and continue that offensive momentum when they scored on a touchdown just the previous offensive possession. Bowden in the shotgun will drop back on an obvious passing down. Has time to throw. Under pressure now. He's able to avoid a couple of sacks and rolls out to the right. He's going to keep his eyes down the field, try and make a couple defenders miss, and he gets back to the initial line of scrimmage, follows his blockers, picks up the first down, gets across midfield, makes another Pirate miss, gets to the 40, the 35-30, looking for some space at the 20, hurdles a defender at the 15, and gets down to the 13-yard line.
Ben Brockman, the senior linebacker, ran with every effort he had for about 55 yards before he was able to catch Tommy Bowden, and the Pirates had their opportunities to end that play, but Bowden, with great individual effort, was able to continue the play multiple times and pick up the first down and a lot more.
It was a 3rd and 18. Pirates looked like they had a couple sacks, and just when they missed and he found some space, he was able to make it work. Now it'll be looks like a kind of not a rugby style, I was going to say a Wildcat there as Kyle King comes in. I guess they were just going to give a breather real quick there to Bowden after probably having to run about 100 yards in every direction to pick up that first down. And then King, a big man himself, just gets the direct snap and decides to run it for 7 yards.
Well, Coach Fredenberg knew that the Pirate defense was gassed as well, and he brought in a fresh pair of legs and went right at them. It looks like he may do that again.
It is Kyle King here on the zone read, keeping it, following his blockers on the right side, getting in the end zone, touchdown Crusaders.
Wasn't much that the Pirates could do there, as again, they had their opportunities in this possession earlier, a couple plays before, to stop the Crusaders, and you let the Crusaders up a little bit and they'll take advantage of you, and they did so. Brought in King and was able to convert in 2 plays.
Anthony Avila will line up the point after attempt. 10:44 left to play in the first half, and the extra point is good. 24-7, the Crusaders with the lead. And you mentioned it, momentum very fickle. Looked like the Pirates were about to get off the field. They had just forced a 3rd and 18. Looked like they were going to get a sack.
Right.
All of a sudden, it's Tommy Bowden doing some crazy things with his legs. I don't think I've seen anybody do something like that since Johnny Manziel. And he took that all the way inside to the red zone. And like you said, a good call by the Crusaders to go with the fresh legs to maybe catch the Pirates off guard. They did tempo them there in the red zone. 2 plays makes it a touchdown for the Crusaders.
Impressive play by Bowden. And really, the Pirates, as we said, they had the momentum on the big touchdown, and they had 3 plays in a row defensively to push the Crusaders back. But the Crusaders, they could score from anywhere on the field, and Bowden showed that and almost did score. But tough break for the Pirates. They're going to have to try to grab that momentum back here. You can do it on special teams pretty quickly. Put yourself back in the same deficit that you were in with just 1 return. We've seen great coverage from the Crusaders to this point today on their kickoffs.
A lot of time left here in this ball game. 10:44 left to play in the second quarter. Avila will kick it away. Booming kick, and I think this one will be a touchback on its own choice, as nobody will even try it, and the Pirates will go ahead and take it at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, Avila hammered that one. You wonder, there's not a lot of wind, but that's the first time Avila really let loose with his leg, and he wanted to make sure that there was no kick return to grab momentum back. We'll see if they can do it with the offense.
Pirates come back out on the field. 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line following the touchback. Trips to the right, single receiver to the left. Gilpin will send Adrian Garza in motion. It's a play action on that jet sweep and a rollout to the right. Gilpin kind of sidearms it and just slipping up and incomplete. That pass intended to Mason Biggers. And, you know, we talked about that turf being a little slick. That looked like the culprit.
Well, Biggers couldn't quite get to where he wanted to be position-wise, and you're right. His feet slipped a little bit, and he spun around and could not get his balance, went down instead of even being able to make an attempt on that pass.
Definitely would have been a little bit closer if he kept the distance, but still a tough catch. 2nd and 10, clock stopped at 10:37 on the incompletion. 2 receivers on both sides. And it's a handoff to Dawson Gonzalez, and he gets right back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Not much there. The Crusader defense able to plug most of the gaps there in the middle. Gonzalez didn't have anywhere to go, and so he spun his way right back to the line of scrimmage.
Clock moving here. 10-11 left to play in the second quarter. 3rd and 10 for the Pirates from the 25-yard line. They're in their own territory. 2 receivers on both sides for Gilpin. Play action. He's immediately under pressure. He's going to tuck it and run around the right side. Gets to the 30 and can't quite make the defender miss at the 32-yard line. And despite the solid effort to pick up 7 yards, it'll be 4th down.
Well, Fritz came up to make the play on him. Gilpin tried to put a move on him, cut back inside. He might have, should have tried to outrun him to the edge. He may have been able to get the line to gain. It would have been close either way. Had he made a move on Fritz there, he had a lot of green in the middle of the field, and that's really what Gilpin was looking at. He didn't convert, though. It's time to punt.
Fritz makes the stop, and then he trots back to attempt to receive this punt from Will Herbst. Herbst has this one blocked. It'll bounce around. Herbst gets it again, and he'll try and tuck it and run across the 30
Picks
to
up
the 40.
First down.
He gets the 45 and out of bounds at the 50. Hey, a blessing in disguise.
That's right
there.
What an athletic play by your punter, Will Herbst. Great job to alertly pick the ball up off the turf, see the open green on the right side of the field, and pick it up. Plus some.
That's kind of the funny thing about those blocked punts is it's a weird shape. Football takes weird bounces, and the guy who had it blocked kind of has a good angle to see where it went first.
And it went right to Will Herbst, and he did exactly what you should do with it. He didn't try to punt it again. He didn't try to throw it to someone. He just took off running where there was green and picked up a nice gain. Keep the drive alive.
Are you allowed to punt it again?
No, but I've seen it happen.
Hey, Pirates found a little more momentum here as Gilpin will have the fake draw and then tries to get it incomplete as he had open the running back Giovanni Tassig and incomplete.
Yeah, Gianni Tassig was open there over the middle, and Gilpin just kind of shot-putted the pass to him instead of following through on a normal pass, and the trajectory of that pass suffered as a result. It was too short.
Kind of that fake draw that we've talked about that Gilpin's so good at. And, again, just a little more air under that one, and that could have been a really big play. Play clock down to 7 seconds here for the Pirates on 2nd and 10 from their own 48-yard line. Gilpin in the pistol. Will decide to keep it as he finds a hole on the right side, gets across midfield, and gets to the 44-yard line of the Crusaders.
3rd and short now. Great effort by Gilpin on the right side. He did not hesitate, took the snap right behind the right guard and tackle, picked up 8.
3rd and 2.
Bringing in new players. Costilla coming out of the game. Easton.
2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right, 2 men in the backfield with Gilpin in the pistol. It's a handoff, and
first down.
Hey, the Pirates will take it on the give to
Gianni Tassig.
Tassig, who
or Tassigi.
believe it's Teague.
It's Teague. He's getting a great effort here from the backup running back.
We didn't see Teague, but there's so many talented Pirates that we didn't see him 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago,
right.
Whatever it was now. But we do get an opportunity to see him here, and just a chance to show off the depth there for Joe Austin. Teague will exit the game now, though, as Dawson Gonzalez comes back into the game. He's the running back to the right, trips to the left. Gilpin will fake the handoff and avoid one tackle and find some space. Now will throw it down the right sideline, just overthrows his intended receiver, Ethan Powell, who had a phenomenal game against East Texas Baptist. Just a little taller, and he would have been able to pull that one down, almost Odell Beckham Jr. style.
He was open on the sideline. The pass was a little behind him. He made the effort, but Gilpin just needs to set his feet a little bit better on those passes. They'll be a little more accurate.
Clock stops at 7:58. It's hard to forget. It's easy to forget sometimes that Gilpin's only a sophomore, and he's getting better every day.
And he's also running for his life on half of these plays from a pretty good Crusader defense.
Powell's lined up on the right. Teague will get the handoff, and he'll be dragged down from behind. A nice tackle made by Akeem Jackson, and a minimal gain there for the Pirates.
It's going to be 3rd and 8, but this is really two down territory if you are the Southwestern Pirates. You're on the Crusader side of the football field. If you can pick up 4 to 6 yards here, you'll certainly probably go for it on 4th down. We'll see, though. They may try to pick it all up here. Crusader crowd getting rowdy.
3rd and 8, big play here with 7:20 left to play in the second quarter. Gilpin will have a little miscommunication with Teague, and it will be a turnover. I think the Crusaders hopped on top of it. Let's see the official call from the officials, and it will be a turnover, and the Crusaders get it back with 7:02 left to play in the second.
Of all the options in that play that could have happened, that was the worst if you're a Pirate fan, because at the very least you could have punted on 4th down if you retained possession and put the Crusaders back against their goal line, flip the field. Unfortunately, the Crusaders starting this possession about where they've started all of their possessions, right around their own 40.
So far, that's led to 24 points, 24-7, 7:02 left to play in the second quarter. Tommy Bowden back in the shotgun. He has big old number 22, Montana Miller, to his left. And a play action here for Bowden. He scans to the right side and throws deep down that right side. He has a man just half a stride off from perhaps getting 6 points, as that was Romello Cook, who just missed the catch. And I would say good defense there by Elijah Norris, staying almost hip for hip with him to make that a tougher catch than it was.
It was a great effort defensively. The effort needs to improve on the pressure on Bowden there, as he stood tall in the pocket and had all day to throw that pass.
It's a handoff here to Montana Miller, and he breaks out to the right side and is stopped just short of the midfield as Ben Brockman gets the stop from behind.
Great effort by Brockman, scraping down the line and pulling the big running back down from behind. 5'9", 225, that is a load.
6:30 left to play here in the second. 3rd down, a big one for the Pirates. Trying to force the 3 and out from the Crusaders. 2 receivers to the left, and a flag comes in here. I think this goes against the Crew.
Likely will, as it's pre the snap.
That was Gary Ruckman about to go in motion. I think he was lined up as a tight end. He kind of lines up as a fullback / tight end for them, and I might think that was a legal procedure. And did you see a sign from the officials? It was a false start? Okay. That backs him up 5 yards.
3rd and 9 now.
Clock picked back up at 6:13. Bowden will change the play with 14 seconds on the play clock. Relays the new information to his offensive line as Miller moves over to his right. Bowden out and throws a little high, and making
Great
the
effort
catch
by
is Miller,
Brockman.
but Brockman makes the stop there before he can go anywhere with it, and that brings up 4th down.
And it was a great tackle by Brockman. Miller had space to his right, and he's shown that you give him a little bit of room and he can make hay with that. But Brockman was able to cut his legs out from under him while he was still in the air, flipped him over, prevented any gain after the catch. Going to be a Mary Hardin Baylor punt here. Costilla back to receive for the Pirates.
Castilleja waiting around the 17-yard line. As we see the first punt of the day from Brandon Cunningham, and Castilleja just lets that roll, and he still gets hit, and this one will be down to around the 1.
Touchback. His leg was in the end zone when he touched it, but it looks like they're going to spot it on the 1-yard line. I'd certainly go have a conversation if I'm Coach Austin with the referees there and question that.
Yeah, you'd think that maybe another official saw that, but I guess not in this case, and that will.
Well, it may have been a timing thing. He may have touched it before he slid into the end zone, was not touching it when he was in the end zone, but.
Well, the officials are right there. We're up
They're
here.
a lot closer than we are.
We give them benefit of the doubt most of the time. Sometimes we're just curious more so than questioning.
Right.
And now I think they give it to the Pirates at the 2 officially. So 5:06 left to play in the second, 24-7. Pirates trying to get back in it, but taking the snap out of the end zone are Landry Gilpin and Southwestern Pirates.
Just got to protect the football here, get positive yards.
He has Teague behind him. And
that'll be a good start. You knock the center down, that's an automatic 5 yards.
As Kobe Giles got a little too aggressive and anticipated that a little bit too much. And let's say that's the hard count right there. We couldn't hear it, but we could assume it.
That's one way that you can get a little bit of breathing room, and great job by Gilpin to use that hard count to do so. And also good effort by Elliott Hammond there as the center to take that hit.
No longer in his own end zone. Gilpin will give the handoff to Teague, and he gets across to the 8-yard line. And
I really like to see Coach Austin go back out the very next series and give Teague the football after that fumble to show we still have confidence in you, young man. Get out there and carry the football. That's what I call good coaching. And he showed this effort, picking up a couple of yards there on the play.
Clock moving at 4:36 left to play in the second quarter. Pirates looking for one more score before the half. A fake handoff, and Gilpin will run. He picks up the first down as he gets to the 15 and is down at the 16-yard line, and that's a Pirates first down. Moves the chains.
Credit Jefferson Fritz with that tackle, but Gilpin, if he would have been able to keep his balance just for a half second more before he tripped there, he had a lot of green on that left side of the field. Still has a first down, and the Pirates continue this drive. A little over 4 minutes, plenty of time to try to get a score here going into the half and cut it down to 10.
4 minutes straight up to play in the first half. 2 receivers on both sides for Gilpin here. He'll take a low snap, actually bobbles it, and he'll just make the smart play and stay down as opposed to giving the defense of the Crusaders an opportunity to maybe knock the ball loose. Good ball security by Gilpin there on a tough situation.
Right, and as we said just plays ago, the main goal here is to protect the football. The last thing you want to do is give the crew the football right here in your red zone, especially on a scoop and score or a pick six or anything like that. But even just turning the ball over to their offense this deep in your field is not a good thing. And so the Pirates did a great job, Gilpin especially, of protecting that football on that play.
3:10 left to play in the first, and Gilpin gives it to Teague, and he is immediately hit on the handoff by Akeem Jackson, and that'll be a loss to the 7 and make this a really tough third down for the Pirates.
That was a run blitz by the crew as Akeem Jackson on the snap came shooting through one of the A gaps and was right there to take Teague down. And there's going to be a timeout with 3:02.
Well, Chuck, this is obviously, as we mentioned, the toughest matchup for the Pirates, and a lot of teams, namely if you can look at the Pirates or the Crusaders' most recent game, a 41-0 victory over Belhaven. A lot of teams are in worse positions at this point. So, if you're Coach Austin and the Pirates, you know that you've had some momentum. You know that you've maybe gotten a couple bad breaks that make this a little bit harder of a hill to climb. But you do know that you can play with these guys, and I think that's kind of a good takeaway so far here through almost two quarters of play.
Well, and I believe that the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders also believe that the Pirates are someone to contend with, as even though there have been a few lopsided results in the games with Mary Hardin Baylor over the last few years, there have been some tight ones as well, especially over the first half like we've seen today.
.302 left to play out of the timeout. The Pirates trying to pick up a 3rd and 19. It'll be a handoff to Teague, and he doesn't get across the trenches as he's brought down by a couple Crusaders inside the 5.
Leading the charge there for the Crusaders was Sante Parker Jr., the big end out of Katy. And it will bring Herbst back out here for the Pirates. And Herbst showing that he's got a little bit of athleticism on the last punt attempt, as he was able to get a first down for the Pirates, but they were unable to maintain that drive. And here we are, Crusaders have the Pirates pushed back to about the 4.
I believe the Crusaders take a timeout here. They have 2 left. The Pirates have 2 timeouts left.
The Crusaders definitely want to push the score out if they're able with the remaining 2 minutes and 56 seconds.
That's plenty of time to score in the sport.
Well, they've shown that they can score on any play from anywhere. Not necessarily today, but throughout my experience with the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders. They're always a tough out.
The toughest punt of the afternoon here for Will Herbst. He'll be at the edge of his own end zone. And he'll just line drive this one over the head of Fritz. It takes a good bounce for the Pirates, rolls across midfield. They'll just kind of let it take its lateral roll, and now it takes a more Pirate roll to about the 48-yard line. And, well, the good luck shines on Will Herbst, as that one was a tough play. And, Fritz, if it maybe were a little bit lower, could have perhaps returned that and had a little bit of running room, but instead it bounces over his head. And, hey, we'll take it for the Pirates' sake.
45 net yard punt from Will Herbst, and I'm sure he was unhappy with the trajectory as it left his foot, but as it went over the head of Miller, it rolled quite a bit for the Pirates.
Chance of let's go Pirates come from the Southwestern side of the field as Tommy Bowden comes back out. He has Hamilton to his left. It'll be a play action, and now he'll step up and throw, and just throws a little low for KJ Miller. And maybe Miller went a few yards too far, or maybe it was a little bit low of a pass for the spinning Bowden. But either way, incompletion here on first down, and stops the clock at 2:36.
I'm going to give credit to number 77 of the Pirates, Nick Hackett, as he was putting some immense pressure on Bowden as he was spinning to avoid Hackett and made a bad throw.
24-7, Pirates trying to get a stop here before halftime. And it's a handoff to Miller, and Miller is brought down just short of midfield, and a nice stop there made by the Pirates' Jay Hanna.
Great effort. Jay Hanna out of College Station. Strung the play out, stayed with it. Miller tried to spin out of his hold, but he just slung him to the ground to make sure no gain on the play, or minimal gain. 3rd and long. Pirates just need to make sure they don't let these Crusader receivers get behind them on this play.
2 minutes left in the first half. 3rd and 9. Bowden takes the snap on the fake handoff. He'll drop back. He runs into Hamilton, who was helping to block, and now another over the line of scrimmage pass and a hold. You could probably take your choice. There were a couple things that seemed a little odd right there, but I think the Pirates are going to decline whatever it was and take 4th.
That's exactly right. It was a hold there. It enabled Bowden to get off a pass without being hit, although the pass was not a very good one. Fell incomplete, intended for Miller. And, of course, the Pirates will decline that holding penalty and force a 4th and 9. The Crusaders will bring out the punting unit. We'll see if Castilleja can make some hay here on this kick return. The last effort on the punt, he allowed to hit the ground, and it bounced inside the 5-yard line.
I think everybody's favorite part of practice is the 2-minute drill, and the Pirates have 1:48 left to play until halftime as they'll get this punt. As it is sent away by Brandon Cunningham, and Castilleja will take the fair catch inside the 10.
Wise play by Castilleja there. Similar situation. The punt was a little higher and easily more managed by Castilleja, but had he let that go, hoping that it would bounce in the end zone, Crusaders were there to down it inside the 5, so he kept it to a minimum damage there, and the Pirates will start at the 9 instead.
Such a talent to be a punt returner because you have to kind of keep your eye on the ball, but you almost have to have like a sixth sense of when the defense is coming at you.
You almost need a lazy eye, one that keeps one on the defenders and one on the football, and it's next to impossible. It's a difficult task. And if you ever tried to even just catch a punt without pressure of coverage, it's difficult. It's even harder than catching fly balls.
1st and 10 from the 9. A blitz being shown by the crew here as Gilpin in the pistol will have an option play stopped before he could hand it off to his fullback, and a false start caught on the Pirates. That'll back him up.
Yeah, pre-snap foul. Will likely be half the distance. Should put the ball right outside the 5-yard line, or just inside the 5, looks like. 4.5-yard penalty.
4.5 instead of the normal 5 for a false start.
Pirates taking their time in the huddle. Clock not moving.
Yeah, 14 seconds on the play clock now, though, as Dawson Gonzalez is the fullback rotating over to the right of Gilpin. Teague behind him. The blitz being shown from the corner. And Teague follows his blocker, gets across the 10, and then is hit, and it is a nice stop by Akeem Jackson to make sure that doesn't go any further, but a good job getting through the trenches there by Teague.
Also there defensively, number 5, Drake Johnson, the defensive back from Missouri City, coming up to make the initial hit. But it is a much more manageable down here. It's 2nd down and 7. Considering they started it 1st and 14.5, that's not a bad gain on 1st down.
1:04 left to play in this first half, and
play clock is down to 5.
Big 2nd and 7 here for the Pirates. Gilpin will hand it off to Dawson, and Dawson tries to follow his blockers on the right side, but a good job splitting the defense and getting the stop there by Micah Hackett.
Good effort on the Pirates. Is a decent play call on the counter, but they're defensively for the Crusaders, number 47, Caleb Johnson, to prevent much of a gain, and there's going to be a timeout.
Crusaders take the timeout here. That's their 2nd.
They want to have another opportunity with the football, and they wanted to stop the clock. It looked like the Pirates were willing to let that run down as much as possible before they got to 4th down if they're unable to convert here on 3rd and 7.
If we guessed right, the Pirates were the ones who deferred, so they will get the ball to start the second half. We again did not get clear signals from the coin flip, but that is the situation.
Unless they made an error in their coin toss verbiage, which sometimes it happens. It's pretty rare, but it can happen.
The University of Texas elected to kick once,
right.
And if you elect to kick, you kick both halves.
Right. Well, and again, it depends on the verbiage you speak to the referee. And when those rules changed, it caused some confusion. That's been a good decade since that happened, but should be all straightened out by now.
At least for this generation. 3rd and 7 here for Gilpin. 32 seconds left in the first half, and it's a handoff to Teague, and he was stopped in his tracks as he had 3 Crusaders coming in from every angle. The best thing he could do is make sure he didn't turn it over.
Yeah, Micah Hackett there to make sure he gets to the ground, and it will be 4th down. And the Pirates willing to let that clock just tick down. And it looks like the Crusaders must be out of timeouts or else they would have burned one.
Right? It says they have 1 timeout left, and if that's the case, then their previous timeout was a complete waste of time.
Yeah, it's probably just a miss on the scoreboard.
Well, that'll take us into the locker rooms. At the half, it's Mary Hardin Baylor leading Southwestern 24-7. You got tuned into SHN Sports. It has 20 minutes on the clock during halftime. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back with more Pirate football the second half on SHN. The start of the second half moments away. I'm Carl Schoening along with Chuck Cracy. Happy you guys tuned into this broadcast on SHN Sports between University of Mary Hardin Baylor and the Southwestern Pirates. Chuck, anything stand out about that first half that the Pirates can take into the second half to continue a chance for a comeback?
Well, the first and foremost is they need to get out of their own way. If they can eliminate mistakes in their offensive execution especially, they will be in this football game. If it wasn't for a few pre-snap fouls, a few execution, faux pas during plays, they would definitely be only down probably 2 scores at this point. Now, I spoke to Coach David Brandenburg, one of the former players, during halftime, and he agreed with me that sometimes playing against the Crew, they can sometimes get in your head a little bit, and the Pirates have shown, especially in given plays and given series, that they can compete with these guys. They just need to apply it a little more consistently and put forth the effort going into this second half, and anything can happen. There's a lot of football left, a whole half.
24-7 your score right now. Of course, the Crew ahead, as you can see on your scoreboard here, as Will Herbst will line up the kick. And if I'm not mistaken, the Pirates kicked to start the ball game, right?
That's what I was saying. There must have been some confusion at the opening kick.
I guess that's why, as Mickey Holden points out, you might not have been able to hear why there might not have been some sign from our officials. I guess there might not be a sign for kick, and that's unfortunate for the Pirates here, as they will not get either half to receive. Will Herbst will kick it away from the 35, and it's an end-over-end kick, and backpedaling and taking it out of his own end zone is Tavion Page, and Page gets across the 20 before he is brought down on the play by Jules Williams.
Decent kick there from Herbst, and it is a decent enough return. Got almost back to the 25. But this is a plus for the Pirates, as most of the possessions for the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders have been around the 40 as a starting point. So they've got them backed up a little bit, so to speak. We'll see what they can do defensively here. The defense has played pretty well so far.
It'll be Bowden in the shotgun from the 24-yard line in his own territory. Crusaders with the first possession of the second half. Bowden will fake the handoff and throw over to the right side. It looked like it might have been trapped, but it will be called a catch by Kadarius Daniels and a completion to the 30, caught the 29-yard line.
They're going to give him 5 yards on that reception all the way up to the 29. It did look like it bounced to me, but, again, we are way high and our angle is odd. Referee's down on the field.
They do have the better angle. We'll concede that here on 2nd and 5. Just starting off this second half, it'll be a handoff to Hamilton as he dances around to the left end and was short of the first down, as I believe making the initial contact there was Nick Hackett for the Pirates.
Yeah, also there, Mitchell, both of the tackles. They still gave up 3.5, 4 yards on the play there, 3rd and short.
14 minutes to play in the fourth here for the Crew, a 3rd and 1. And a handoff to Hamilton. In fact, Bowden looked like he was maybe going to want to pick up the first down himself, decided that Hamilton had a little bit bigger of a push from the left side of the line and got the first down for the Crusaders at the 35-yard line.
Pretty interesting handoff there as he continued to move towards the line of scrimmage, as he tucked the ball in the pocket there of the running back and finally let the running back pick up the yards. They almost took the handoff at the line to gain.
1st and 10 here for the Crusaders. Bowden, play action, pump fakes, and now he'll throw down the right sideline and overthrows his intended receiver, Kadarius Daniels. And there in defense was Jules Williams, even though the pass was going to not go over, it could be catchable anyway. Good job there to stay with him hip to hip.
That's what you call blanket coverage there. Williams in his hip, did not give an opportunity at all for Kadarius Daniels to have any chance of making an effort to catch that football.
2nd and 10, the clock stop at 13:26 in the third. It's a double reverse here as Miller is the one who gets the handoff from Hamilton, and he finds some space, hurdles a defender at the 40 as he goes out of bounds on an angle. I think they'll give him the 41 perhaps, the 42, and be short of the first down on a gain of about 8 on first.
Good effort there by 36, Bernard Century of the Pirate defense. He was able to try to make a tackle, and number 7, KJ Miller, kind of jumped over him, was unable to get the line to gain, 3rd and short.
Clock still moving, though. 13:04 left to play in the third quarter, and a handoff to Hamilton. And
he's short.
Yeah, I think he was stopped thanks to the defensive effort from Bernard Century, and we'll see if this brings up a 4th down. It will, and
about a half a yard.
I think the Crew are going to go for it. It's analytics, and all of the offensive line are telling the coach that they should.
This area of the field, it's something that you should do, but it looks like the coaching staff of the Crusaders are going to play it safe here and bring out the punting unit unless they have something up their sleeve in by way of a fake here. Back deep to receive is going to be number 3 for the Pirates, of course, Castilleja.
It will be a punt here, and it'll be a fake punt as it is Finch Fritz who gets the direct snap and then gets the first down as he angles across midfield and gets into Pirate territory at the 48-yard line. And I think the Pirates maybe caught on that Fritz was there and still weren't able to catch up to him. Good blocking by the Crew.
Ben Brockman had an opportunity to make the tackle, but he was just slightly late, and the runner was able to break through his tackle, pick up the first down.
Clock moving here, under 12 minutes to play in the third, and a new set of downs for the Crusaders. Trips left and 2 men in the backfield with Tommy Bowden and a handoff to Hamilton, and Ben Brockman with an ankle tackle stops him at the 43-yard line.
It was a pretty nice gain on first down there for the Crusaders. Brings up 2nd and about 5. Got to get better penetration from the defensive line if you're the Pirates.
2nd and 5 for the Crusaders in Pirate territory at the 43-yard line. Trips left, 2 men in the backfield with Bowden now as you see a quick movement from Gary Rucker over to the right side. Bowden tried to give it to Hamilton, then decided to pull it back and tries to spin around his blockers and gets right back to the line of scrimmage before he's swallowed up by a few Pirates, and I think there's no gain on the play officially.
Well, and Bowden took quite a bit of weight there as he fell to the ground. Seth McCrum leading the charge for the Pirates, number 99. They're going to give him about maybe a half yard on the gain. It's 3rd and about 4.5.
Big 3rd down here for the Pirates. They've already gotten 1 3rd down stop on this drive, trying to get a 2nd. Bowden. Play action, drops back, scans to his right, and hit as he throws. I think that'll be an incompletion, but they don't blow it dead. Now they do, as you would know, Bernard Century comes pretty close on that one to pick it up, and they whistle right as he's about to scoop.
They had a delayed blitz coming from Alexander Gomez, and his timing was well enough to affect the throw and force a 4th down here, and the Crew brings out the punting unit again. We'll see if they punt it this time.
This time it is Brandon Cunningham.
Castilleja will return.
Yeah, Castilleja waiting around the 10-yard line. And another throw, this time from Cunningham. Wide open, the pass completed to Daniels. Daniels makes a man miss at the 25 and then is brought down by Castilleja, who would have returned the punt at the 20.
Have a penalty flag.
I'm going to guess this flag goes against the Crusaders. That's wishful thinking. I didn't see what it is, but
in the area, it could have been a hold or an illegal block. We'll see.
Illegal man down the field, perhaps, in a passing play situation.
It is. That is exactly the call. And that is a common error in that type of situation, especially if the coaching staff only spoke to the punter and the receiver and did not talk to the lineman and tell them you need to stay within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage until you hear the punt. Because your first move as a coverage guy is to make your initial block and you release and make it your way downfield as quickly as possible.
Surely they're not going to fake a punt three times in a row here, as this time it will be kicked away by Cunningham. Castilleja will watch this one soar, and it'll go into the end zone for a touchback.
That was a booming punt from the kicker. It traveled in the air about 59 yards. Great effort. But the Pirates able to stop the Crusaders and get the football back here for their first possession here in the second half. Third period.
Yeah, that's right. First possession for the Pirates with 10-11 left to play in the third. They get it at their own 20-yard line as Landry Gilpin and the Pirate offense come trotting back on. Dawson Gonzalez, the
look and see if they target Ethan Powell here.
Powell end up on the wide left side, trips to the right. Play action. Gilpin under pressure, throws down the middle of the field. He has Adrian Garza at the midfield. He makes the catch, and the tackle made by Jefferson Fritz probably saves that one from going a lot further down the field.
Exactly right, and they had Powell over here one-on-one, and the Pirate coaching staff had the same idea I did to air it out, but they did so over the middle of the field, finding a wide-open Adrian Garza. Let's see if they can build on this momentum here in this drive and continue and turn this drive into points.
Two receivers on both sides of the spread. Look for the Pirates on 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line in Crusaders territory. Gilpin thought about rolling out to the right, still does as he gets a good block and then just throws wide of his intended target on the right sideline. That was Anthony Stevens, who didn't really have an opportunity to make the catch. Gilpin just didn't want to take the sack, I think.
And there could have also been a little bit of interference called. Referees declined to make a call there. Titus Dunk, the defensive back, making contact as the ball arrived. Going to let him play a little bit, though. We haven't seen much by the way of interference today.
Not too many officials throwing flags. I think it's been a well-officiated game despite our occasional curiosity of what happened. It'll be Gilpin trying to escape some pressure, and he is brought down from behind. The tackle made by Drake Johnson.
Really couldn't get away, and part of it looked like what Gilpin's issue there was too many choices, and he didn't quite make the decision fast enough. Johnson able to drape himself over Gilpin's back and drag him down to the ground. Loss on the play makes it 3rd and too far for a typical easy play. We'll see if they air one out. The crew will likely be bringing some pressure on Gilpin.
3rd and 15, 8:50 to play here in the third. Two receivers on both sides. Gilpin will take the snap, drop back for a pass. He has time to throw. He has space to run if he wanted, but he's going to air it out down the field. It's Powell who almost gets the catch just between his fingertips, and he might have been able to walk that into the end zone because he was in stride from Gilpin, and just a fraction of a second is all the difference it makes for a 4th down instead of a touchdown.
Well, and I was looking for that on the 1st down play when I said look for them to throw to him. He was able to get behind not one but 2 defenders, and it was a good pass by Gilpin. It just, by the time that Powell turned around and got his hands up, the ball was moving through those hands.
Herbst is ready to punt this one away to either Fritz or Miller, and it goes off a little bit to the side of the foot, but still a really good, solid punt, and forces a K.J. Miller fair catch inside the 20.
I think Micah Hackett might have got a pinky or a ring finger on that punt as it was leaving Herbst's foot. It wasn't enough to really change the trajectory much, but he had a hand up and was very close.
Something a little funky happened there, and I kind of said it might have been Herbst, but you're right, it could have been Hackett who got a little finger on it and just made it a little more wobbly than a typical Herbst punt. 1st and 10 here from the 18-yard line for the Crusaders. They're in their own territory with a 24-7 lead. 8:30 left to play in the third.
Pirate defense going to have to keep them in this. Big to step up now.
Miller goes in motion left to right. Montana Miller is the running back in there with Tommy Bowden. He fakes the handoff to Miller and then throws it, and just incomplete, bobbled on the catch, and the intended receiver right there, Brenton Martin, is not going to have a better opportunity all day.
No, in fact, if Brenton Martin catches that in stride, he's probably in the end zone at this moment in time. And the Pirates dodging a bullet there. Bowden's throw just a little bit too high and a little bit out in front of the receiver, Brenton Martin. But if he could have got his hands on it, it could have paid off for the Crusaders.
Montana Miller clears out of the backfield. It's 5 wide here for Tommy Bowden. And it'll be designed quarterback run as he takes it around left, and he's trying to stretch it to the left side, gets across the 25 to the 30, has space to run down the left sideline across the 45-50, and he stepped out of bounds somewhere on that left sideline as that was blown dead before he got to where he was trying to go. And
looks like it's going to be about the 44-yard line.
Thank you.
Of the Crusaders.
I was trying to figure that out, but you're right. It stays on the Crusaders side of the field, and they kind of blew that whistle when he was on the Pirates side of the field, so that's why they're down there and we're up here. Good eye, though, for that play, Chuck.
That's a true spread, too. They spread the defense out as much as they could, and they just not to throw, but to run.
Trips right. 2 men in the backfield with Bowden. Bowden will hand it off to Hamilton, who goes up the gut, and he is brought down in the trenches.
Nick Hackett there, number 77 off the bottom, had him wrapped up.
And it was a gain of about 4. Hackett does get credit for the tackle. 7:33 left to play here in the third. It's 24-7, the Crew with the lead and the football. Hamilton will get the give on a delayed handoff, bounces outside. A flag comes in as he crosses the 50.
It's going to be a holding penalty there.
Yeah, and he gets out of bounds and picked up the first down, but I imagine you're right, and this will negate the gain, and we'll redo second down.
A little bit of extracurriculars going on there near the University of Mary Hardin Baylor emblem involving Seth McCrum. Referees break that up pretty quickly.
It's a physical sport.
It is. Well, the play just continues sometimes, a little bit beyond the whistle, that's all.
And sometimes it's fun, you know.
Well,
I think
both guys are encouraging it, I'm sure.
2nd and 15. Montana Miller stacks out to the right side. And, again, it's another run here for Bowden as he gets up the gut and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. And a nice job on the tackle by Imundo Suarez. And that'll be 3rd and about 10.
That was the same play as a couple of plays ago when Bowden picked up the first down. They spread the defense out as much as they can. They move Montana Miller as far out to the wide out as they can to force an additional player out of the box and hope that Bowden and his legs will take advantage, and he's done so on a couple of plays.
3rd and 10 from the 44. It'll be a pass from Bowden. He's under pressure. Looks like there was a hold. No flag coming as Bowden still trying to figure it out. He stumbles and just throws it away, and that'll bring up 4th down. And, man, I'm telling you, I saw a huge hold there on Suarez, and then he asks for the flag, didn't see one, and none coming. But the Pirates probably would have turned it down anyway since it brings up 4th.
Well, and that was a good play by Bowden to not lose yardage because he had defenders forcing him backwards and nowhere to throw, and he was able to get it forward beyond the line of scrimmage. He was outside of the pocket, no danger of a grounding penalty, and avoids a loss of probably about 15 yards. Castilleja has an opportunity for a decent return here.
It'll be Fritz who kicks it this time. He faked a punt earlier, and this is a beauty of a punt for a defensive player who sends it into the 9 or 10-yard line, and Castilleja elects not to return that one. And good defensive positioning here for the Crusaders as that one gets to the 10.
You know, I wish I could make my golf balls stop like that. They hit the turf and just die. That doesn't happen.
He's listed as the backup punter, and, man, he could fight for that starting job too. A lot of talent on this Crusaders team.
They certainly don't have any problems recruiting, and they're not the typical last chance you kind of Division III school either. The kids that have opportunities to go play at Division I schools choose to come to Mary Hardin Baylor instead.
6:16 left to play in the third. Gilpin with a nice fake on the handoff and hits a receiver in stride. That's Castilleja who picks up the first down to the 25-yard line and gives a little more breathing room to his quarterback as they're trying to cut into a 24-7 lead by the Crusaders.
Castilleja in space is very dangerous if you're a Crusader, and the Pirates were able to get him into some open territory just beyond the linebackers and pick up a nice gain.
5:52 left to play in the third. Pirates with a new set of downs. Gilpin in the shotgun. Teague behind him. Takes the handoff and throws over to the right, and just off the fingertips of Castilleja and almost intercepted by Fritz. Falls incomplete, though, and stops the clock at 5:37. Brings up second down.
The only reason Fritz was unable to make that interception is because he was too worried about Castilleja making the catch and a big gain after the catch. So he had to come up to make the tackle, put him out of position to make a play on that tip ball.
Second and 10 for the Pirates at their own 25-yard line. Gilpin fakes the handoff, rolls out to the right, and flips it to Dawson Gonzalez, and he couldn't quite hold on to it, incomplete.
He was running before he caught the football, and that happens sometimes, especially when you're competing against somebody at the level of Mary Hardin Baylor. You want to get that ball, tuck it, and get as many yards as you can before contact. The key is to get the ball and tuck it first.
Couple defenders right there. He could hear their footsteps, that's I imagine, right. And, that's always an interesting thing where you're thinking of ball security before you actually have the ball. Clock stopped at 5:31 of the third. 24-7, third down here, and 10 for the Pirates. A blitz being shown, a play action by Gilpin, and he's brought down from behind. The tackle made by that blitzer, Akeem Jackson.
The Crusaders doing a pretty good job of mixing up their blitz packages and have caused some confusion for the Pirate offense throughout this ball game. And really, if it's not for the defense of the Pirates, this game could be much worse. Will Herbst out to punt.
Herbst will send it away just in front of the 5-yard line as he waits for the rest of his team to line up for the punt. 12 seconds on the play clock. They might have to rush it just a little bit as Fritz and Miller are back deep to receive. Herbst takes a couple steps to the left before he sends this one to the ground at midfield, and taking off the bounce is Miller. Miller looking to run laterally on the 40, looking for some space, and then he just goes out of bounds, and he was pushed out a little aggressively by Brandon Jennings, and I think they're looking for a flag on a late hit. Not going to happen. That would have been soft of a flag anyway, and a new possession here for the Crusaders at the 43-yard line, which is roughly where they've been all day.
Right. About where their average is. But they're going to add a couple of yards. More than a couple, actually, because that's usually 15-yard varieties.
They did throw the flag?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's still sitting on the Crusaders sideline there.
I see it there. It's not in bounds.
Right. Well, the penalty occurred a little out of bounds. I thought it was probably a little ticky-tack, but they're wanting to control the emotion. And when you see it boil up like that, even if it's slightly, as a referee, in order to keep it under control, you've got to throw that flag and let them know we're not going to put up with that.
Understandable, as the penalty puts the Crusaders into Pirates territory at the 42-yard line. Bowden has Hamilton to his right. Hand off to Hamilton, who goes behind his right guard and gets a chunk of yards to the 37.
On the stop, Alexander Gomez from Valley View High School, one of the linebackers for the Pirates. Too many yards on that play, though, about 5 yards. You want to make that play at the line of scrimmage if you're able.
Clock moving here, 4:15 left to play in the third, 24-7. Crusaders with the ball and the lead. 2nd and 5 from the 37. Bowden will drop back, throws deep down the right sideline, and that was the same play that resulted in an interception earlier. This time it'll be pass interference on Jules Williams, as he was staying pretty tight with Kadarius Daniels, and that'll add on 15 more yards and penalties for the Pirates and give a first down to the Crusaders.
And that's an unfortunate flag, and it's a tough penalty if you're a defensive back because you have a right to be on the football field as well. Jules Williams running with the receiver, the pass a little behind the defender, so he had to try to come back through Williams to make the catch, and he ends up getting a penalty flag called for the Crusaders, or in the favor of the Crusaders. And now they're right outside the red zone. Defense is going to have to step up big here if they want to keep it within 13, or where are we at? We're 18. I can't do math.
1st and 10 from the 22.
17 points.
And a Hamilton carry is stopped on the tackle by Alexander Gomez, and a gain of about 5 to the 17-yard line.
Pretty much the same play that was called on first down the last set of downs of this drive. Pretty much the same gain, too, about 5 yards on that right side.
Bowden has 2 receivers to his left, 2 men in the backfield with him. Fakes the handoff to Hamilton, rolls to the left. The lefty throws for the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown by Brenton Martin. Martin had a dropped pass earlier in this quarter. He makes up for it here with 6 points.
That's a tough play to defend. They wide side of the field there on the throwing arm side of Bowden, and so he didn't have to turn his body to make an accurate throw, and enough distance between the defensive back by Brenton Martin and a decent pass by Bowden made it a touchdown there in the corner.
Anthony Avila will kick through the extra point. Bowden the holder. And he sends that one for the extra point and good. 31-7. The Crusaders with the lead. 3:25 left to play in the third. And that was just kind of a penalty-plagued drive. The late hit gave them an extra 15 yards. The pass interference, another 15, and 30 yards of penalties makes it an easier drive for the Crusaders.
Certainly does, and it's the self-inflicted wounds that generally will cause you to lose football games. Now, when you're playing a school the level of Mary Hardin Baylor, you don't need to give them any assistance. We've been talking about that throughout this game, and the Pirates, unfortunately, have done too many favors for the Crusaders today, and that's the result, a 31-7 score. Still plenty of football left to be played with 3:25 remaining here in the third period. However, the hole is deep to climb out of for the Southwestern Pirates.
The Pirates ready to receive the ensuing kickoff from Avila. 31-7 your score. Mary Hardin Baylor with the lead. Pirates looking for their first win of the season. Crusaders looking for their second as they defeated Belhaven back on February 6th. 41-0.
Did they travel for that game, or did Belhaven travel here?
I believe it was a home game for the Crusaders.
No, I think their guide said this is their opener.
Oh, this is their opener. Okay, there we go. Then
home
it'll be
opener.
Avila who sends this one deep. Fair catch called for by Castilleja, and he'll take the yards to the 25.
The Belhaven games on the road are fun. I mean, we fly into Atlanta, drive into Tennessee, up the mountains, and to the college, and you're kind of in the middle of the mountains there. We had a good time a couple of years ago when we went to Belhaven early in the season. Big win for the Pirates early in that year. I guess that was last year, wasn't it?
Feels like 5 years ago, doesn't it?
But it was last football season, but it's more than a year ago because of the COVID change to this football season.
2019.
It'll be odd to do football in the fall for the Pirates because it'll seem like we just did football.
It will. And we did in a way. I think a false start here will back the Pirates up. It could be offsides, but I think the left side of the line jumped a little bit here for Landry Gilpin and the Pirates on first down with 3:23 left to play in the third. It's a false start.
Yeah, putting yourself behind the chains here to open your drive, that's not the way you want to start. Pirates need to get on the same page here. The offense having a little bit of trouble here with the Crew defensive team. A lot of size and quickness for Mary Hardin Baylor to contend with.
2 men in the backfield for Gilpin, and the snap hits him in the face, and he has to dive right back on top of it. Could have been disastrous inside the 20 turnover for the Pirates. Instead, Gilpin literally shrugged for half a second there.
He didn't know where it went.
and somehow he found it, and his awareness popped back in. Obviously your field of view is limited with those helmets, but he was able to pop on top of it and avoid disaster.
Well, it was a fortunate bounce. We talked about the shape of the football earlier. When Earps had his kick blocked, he was able to pick up a first down off of the tip. It sometimes bounces your way, and Gilpin lucky that the ball wasn't turned over there.
Gilpin drops back on 2nd and long, and he'll try to tuck it and run, and he is laid out as lowering his shoulder into Micah Hackett. Hackett lowers his shoulder back into him.
Yeah, that's probably the last guy you want to try to lower your shoulder and run over. Hackett has demonstrated his ability to bring the wood, so to speak. 6'1", 225-pounder out of Aledo, Texas. They've won a few state championships there in Aledo. I'm sure he was a part of at least one of those.
2:05 left to play in the third. 31-7 your score. The Crusaders with the lead. It's 3rd and 19. The ball on the 16-yard line here for the Pirates as Coleman Kerr comes in. Kerr gives a handoff here, and it will be Dawson Gonzalez, who doesn't really get anywhere. I think he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Pirates.
Again, the Crusaders' defensive line just giving the Pirates fits. If the Pirates are able to get into the second level on any of their run plays, they're very successful, but they've had a hard time getting past that first line. Herbst in to punt in his end zone. Miller back to return along with Jefferson Fritz. We're going to have a delay of game penalty unless the Pirates happen to call a timeout.
I'm not sure. It looks like they're trotting to the sideline like it was a timeout call.
It looks like they burned one right before the play clock expired to prevent a penalty. There's no flag on the field.
That's correct. The Pirates take their first timeout of the second half with 1:01 left to play in the third, and that's the first time out of the half in general. I'm Carl Schoening along with Chuck Cracy, Mickey Holden, our main camera operator, our second camera operator, Bianca Galvan, and our producer, the great Michael Francis.
Yeah, he's a good feller, old Michael.
4th and 22. Ball on the 13-yard line for Will Herbst, who will have to punt it away from his own goal line.
All day long, the crew have gotten pressure on his kicking foot side, the left foot.
And he sends this one deep. It goes across midfield, and Miller will take it and backpedal behind the 40. And then he is brought down at around the 35-yard line, and Jules Williams, loving it, gets the highlight reel tackle on special teams.
Well, and that is a great tackle, not only against any kick returner, but you're going against K.J. Miller, who's made numerous people miss with the initial move on a kick. Great effort by Williams there. This is the deepest the Crusaders have started a drive that I can recall.
49 seconds left to play in the third. A 31-7 lead for the Crusaders over Southwestern. And back into the game is Kyle King, the backup quarterback to Tommy Bowden. 1st and 10 for him from the 34-yard line. Looks like there's a fumble there, and Montana Miller was able to scoop it up and try and make something out of nothing there, but it ended up being a loss back to the 33-yard line.
I'm going to credit that tackle to number 52, Brian Estrada, out of Dallas Christian High School. Great effort. It was him and cohorts, but he was the one that had Montana Miller wrapped up at the hips. And if you're going to wrap him up, that's where you're going to do it.
17 seconds left to play and ticking here in the third quarter. King will fake the handoff to Miller, go around left end, stay on his feet as he gets past the trenches, get across the 40 to the 44-yard line, be short of the first down.
Kadari Issa coming up to make the tackle there. Otherwise, it might have been a first down for Kyle King.
And that'll be the end of the third quarter. 31-7 your score. The Crusaders with the lead over Southwestern. 15 minutes left to play in the ball game. And you know, Chuck, I have seen crazier comebacks. I will say that.
That's true.
There's still a lot of time left here, and you know it takes a couple miracles. Don't get me wrong, but
lots of luck.
Yeah, I think there's still an opportunity here for the Pirates. So please stick around and see what the Pirates can do with it. And also stick around for the post game with Joe Austin to communicate with us his thoughts on the game.
and moving forward in this odd football season for Southwestern and all of the teams in the ASC.
So we start off the fourth quarter. The Crusaders have it on the 44-yard line, a 3rd and 2 in their own territory.
Big play here for the Pirate defense. See if they can get some penetration here on any attempted run play. The quarterback remains Kyle King, so it's likely to be a run.
Kyle King hands it off to Montana Miller, who finds some space around the left end, and he gets the first down before he has to kind of churn his legs through a Easton Feller tackle, and a first down for the Crusaders. And Feller, I think he's the one who's down, or perhaps another one, but he kind of just bullied through a couple of Pirates.
Well, and you have to credit the Crusaders blocking on that play, because the Pirates had defenders in the backfield to try to cut off the run by Montana Miller, but the blocks were good enough. He was able to squeeze between a couple of them and find just enough, get skinny enough, just enough to pick up the first down plus a couple of extra yards with his effort.
And this is Peyton Ludeman who's down. Yeah. Well, hopefully he's okay as he's being tended to. 14:39 left to play in the fourth quarter. It's a 31-7 lead to the Crusaders. And let's check out some numbers here in terms of rushing. Mary Hardin-Baylor is led in total yards by Tommy Bowden. He has 9 carries for 112 yards.
About 40 of them were on, or 50 of them were on that one play.
That one that was 3rd and 19.
Yes.
He had 59 yards on that one, if you were curious. He's averaging 12.4 thanks to that one, raises his percentage. Malik Hamilton has had 15 carries for 44 yards. Kyle King, who's the backup quarterback, 3 carries for 24 yards, and Montana Miller, 3 carries for 22 yards. On the Southwestern side, Will Herbst actually has 1 carry for 17 yards on that blocked punt that he was able to return. Landry Gilpin leading the team in carries with 14, but he's only netted 5 as he's gained 42, but he's lost 37 thanks to the pressure from the crew. Brandon Jennings with 2 carries for 4 yards, and Johnny Tassig with 8 carries for a net of 1 yard after having a 13-yard gain and 12 yards lost. Peyton Ludeman getting up under his own power and able to walk to the sideline. Hopefully he's okay. In terms of passing, Landry Gilpin, 3 for 10, no interceptions for 101 yards and a touchdown. One of them went for 57 yards thanks to Austin Casieja, who was able to turn that 57-yard reception into a touchdown. He has 2 catches for 72 yards. Adrian Garza has 31 yards on 1 catch. Back to action here. New set of downs and into Pirates territory at the 49-yard line are Kyle King and the Crusaders. They have a 31-7 lead. 14:27 left to play as the clock picks back up following the injury timeout. Montana Miller on the zone read. Kyle King keeps it, and then he hits Ruckerman in stride, and he gets across the 25 and fights his way to the 21, and he's a big man to try and take down.
That was a great effort by Ruckerman. He could have got a penalty there at the end as he pushed off one of the tacklers. Get off of me, and that was Patrick Nicholas that he pushed off of him, but good effort.
King kind of wanted to tempo, and then as you saw, he just kind of threw a towel away to make sure he doesn't slip on it, and now he'll hand it off to Montana Miller. Miller tries to spin around the right end before he is pushed back by a few Pirates there on the trenches.
Yeah, you spin and you might meet Nick Hackett, and that's what happened to Montana Miller there, and you're not going to go very far when you run into Nick Hackett. Generally, you're going to go backwards, and that's what happened. And for Miller, that's how you want to meet him when he's off balance spinning. You don't want him to have both feet on the ground, but if you're Nick Hackett, you're okay either way because you bring a little bit of a load yourself.
2nd and 9. Ball on the 20-yard line of the Pirates. King in the shotgun. Play action. Lobs it towards the end zone, and a catch for a touchdown. Coming down with that one for the crew was Brandon Jordan, his first catch of the game, the 6'6 receiver, 235 junior transfer from California. makes the first catch, and he gets 6 points.
A little bit of a push off there.
I saw that, yeah.
But, you know, they were both hand checking each other, so referees let it go. And it was a good effort, good catch by Brandon Jordan.
Avila will send the point after attempt here. It's 13-13 left to play in the fourth quarter, and Avila makes it 38-7. This one's a little bit easier to do the math on, 31 points.
That's right. Powell almost got a hand on that extra point. He was there in the middle, got a nice jump in the air, but it's difficult to get and block a kick from that far out. Have an injury for the Pirates.
I think it's Alexander Gomez perhaps or Cam Collins. Both wear 17, and that's all I could really make out here, and hopefully they're okay. A little bit of an injury bug biting the Pirates late here.
Well, it's a tough draw when you take on the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders anytime. You know, they're going to bring heavy hits, and they're going to bring a lot of size, a lot of speed. And the Pirates have done well to this point, but it's starting to get away from them a little bit here in the second half.
38-7 your score. Crusaders with the lead over the Pirates. Southwestern, as we mentioned, on that Castilleja 57-yard reception for a touchdown, the only score for the Pirates.
It was an exciting play. Great effort by Castilleja.
And right now at the moment, we're just hoping that the Pirate down on the field is okay. It seems like he's made it on his way onto his back, and he's just taking his time to collect himself, and hopefully he's all right.
They're going to be sure that he's not injured before they try to move him. They go through a series of questions with him to ensure what area hurts and whether or not he's got movement and things like that, and he looks like he's going to be okay. But you certainly don't want to aggravate the injury just to get him off the field.
Absolutely. And he's helped up with some assistance from Coach Austin.
Yeah, he's going to need some help. It's either an ankle or a knee, and it looks like it may be probably an ankle, but either way, he's going to need some treatment.
Yeah, he's taking pressure off of, I think it's his left, and hopefully he's okay. Again, not quite sure if that is Cam Collins or Alexander Gomez, but either way, just hope the young man's okay down there.
Part of the sport, injury is something that you deal with on an annual basis if you're a player, a coach, or a staff member with any of these programs. And that's why you try to build your depth as deep as possible. The Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders have been building their depth over about 20 years, and they have a pipeline of recruits from many schools in this Central Texas area, and it's paid off for them.
And now we'll have the kickoff from Avila following their touchdown. 38-7 the score, 13-13 as Norris and Biggers are back deep to receive. Avila has not really given much of an opportunity to return anyhow, as he has a booming leg, and he actually sends this one a little bit shorter than usual, and no fair catch called for. Actually, a fair catch was called for. I thought so by Norris. The officials were a little slow to blow the whistle, so I thought it might have been one of those fake where it didn't go over his head or something along those lines.
Well, I think there was a confusion because he didn't actually catch it, but you signal it, and then you catch it on a bounce, they're going to whistle it down. The problem is you get the ball right there because you didn't catch it. Had he made the catch, the ball would have been on the 25-yard line, and that's the difference. Instead, it'll be first down on the 13. So if you make the signal, you need to make sure you make the catch.
He's not the best analyst in the ASC for nothing, folks.
I wouldn't go that far. I haven't seen the others.
I haven't either. Yeah. You're the best that I'm aware of. 3:11 left to play in the fourth quarter. Andrew Gilpin back in the game, and he finds Ethan Powell for a first down across the 30-yard line. Whistles did not blow it dead. Powell was down. Unfortunately, they're not going to allow him to resume the play. As
it almost
he fought
looked
his
like
way.
he had the defender between him and the turf, and that's what he thought. He was like, I'm not down. I'm on the defender. but the whistles blow, and once that happens, regardless, the play's dead.
Yeah, the officials saw it a little differently, and I don't think they expected Powell to continue running as aggressively as he did.
Usually 6'5" guys aren't that athletic.
1st and 10 from the 36. Pirates trying to make a score here as Gilpin is brought down on the play from Akeem Jackson.
Not much there. Gilpin tried to make something out of nothing, and you can see he's getting up a little slow from that hit. He's a little bit gimpy, and there's going to be a whistle because of it. And he'll trot to the sideline gingerly.
And
we'll probably see Coleman Kerr come in, but maybe not. Nope, he's just coming to get some instruction from Coach Austin and the offensive coaching staff.
Wind picking up a little bit, coming right into our faces, so I guess it's moving. I get my geography right here, east to west. And Gilpin, yeah, I think he will be subbed out for Coleman Kerr here, as he wanted to try and talk about coming back in, and now Coleman Kerr will enter the huddle. Play clock still more than 25 seconds, just started, tick to 24. 2nd and 13 from the 33, Pirates in their own territory. They trail by 31 points. It'll be Coleman Kerr dropping back under pressure from Jackson. Seems like he kind of lost his footing, still able to pick up a few yards back to the initial line of scrimmage.
Well, I'll be honest, when Coleman Kerr spun, he expected to get hit in the back, and that's why he kind of flinched a little bit, because he was waiting, and when it didn't occur, his momentum just carried him all the way around. He was able to pick up a yard or get back to the line of scrimmage at least.
3rd and 9 here for Landry Gilpin as he trots back onto the field after Coleman Kerr makes this a little more manageable for him. Dawson Gonzalez, the running back, trips to the left, single receiver lined up on the right side. That's Mason Biggers. From the right hash mark, Landry Gilpin has 7 seconds on the play clock when he receives the snap. He's going to tuck it and run. Gets across the 40 as he was brought down on the play by Akeem Jackson from behind. And even though Jackson didn't actually get like a tackle, he got enough momentum and off balance to force Gilpin not to be able to pick up that first down, which he might have been able to.
He probably would have if it wasn't for Jackson on that play.
Yep. And that brings up 4th down, and Will Herbst will punt this one to either Fritz or Miller.
Well, Herbst, the lefty, is going to roll to his left. I mentioned earlier, he'd been getting pressure on that side on all of these punts. They did a great job of picking it up there.
This one bounces to Castilleja at the 35.
Herbst didn't get quite the foot into it that he typically does, but it's still a decent enough punt. The Crew have good field position, though, once again at their own 35.
.10:35 left to play in the 4th. 38-7 the score. The Crusaders lead the Pirates. They have the ball at their own 35-yard line here. As King stays out there as the quarterback. Montana Miller to his left. 3 receivers on the left side, a single receiver on the right. And a new play here with 13 seconds on the play clock. Miller shifts over to the right after the instructions are relayed, and it'll be a throw over to the right side. It is completed, and Romelio Cook will only get a few more yards after the catch to the about 43-yard line, and a gain of 7 on the play.
Bernard Century there cleaning up the tackle for the Pirates, making sure not much more is gained after the catch. Going to be 2nd and about 2. And they're running tempo here, and then they slow it down.
.17 seconds on the play clock as King gets the snap on 2nd and short, and Montana Miller takes it around left in for the first down to the 48-yard line.
Tough run there by Miller. Keeps his legs churning, picks up about 5 yards for the first. First
and 10 for the Crusaders, still in their own territory at the 48-yard line, and King really taking his time here. I think they're trying to milk the clock as it keeps moving with 9:25 left to play in the fourth and a 38-7 lead for the Crusaders.
Well, they should be. That'd be the appropriate coaching move.
Pass out to the left side goes out of the hands of Brandon Jordan, who had that good catch for the touchdown on the most recent UMHB score.
Good coverage out there by the Pirates, Jules Williams.
The zone read, a handoff to Miller, and he is tripped up at the ankles. I'm going to give credit to that stop to Jay Hanna, and that'll bring up third down.
Yeah, Hanna was in there. As soon as he got the handoff, Hanna wrapped him up around the legs. Great effort. It's going to be third and about 10 yards. And Montana Miller's down.
Yeah, he's a little slow to get up, and I think he's okay, but obviously the officials weren't going to allow play to resume.
And he'll have to come out for a play. They'll bring back in Malik Hamilton, the starter. You don't get a relief when Miller comes out. Instead, they put one back in.
But an opportunity here for the Pirates to get a stop on third down, as Montana Miller's still taking his time going off the field on his own power.
And you want to get as many offensive plays as you can, regardless of the score. You want to get as much work as possible against a quality defense. And the Crusaders have brought that today.
King in the shotgun, 3rd and 10. Ball on the Crusaders' 48-yard line. King has time to throw, and he fires it deep down the right sideline, and there's a lot of contact there. And
you know, if anything, it could have been offensive pass interference because the receiver knocked down the defender, Camden Terry, and then tripped over Terry trying to get to the ball. But there's a offsides penalty against the Pirates instead. So it'll be 3rd and short, about 5, instead of 3rd and 10.
Yeah, I think there was a little too much contact on both parties to really call that. It's a good no call by the officials, but there was that offsides that goes against the Pirates, and we try this 3rd down again. The ball now on the Pirates' 47-yard line. 3rd and 5 as King is in the shotgun. He wants to change up the play with 15 seconds on the play clock.
Trying to draw the Pirates off sides.
Again, I think they won't make the same mistake twice in a row, as it'll be a King option or King run here to the right side, and he turns the corner and can't quite get to the yard to gain.
On the spot.
I don't think they gave him the yard to gain. In fact, it looks like
he's about a yard short.
That from my angle, it looked like he was a little bit further back when he stepped out of bounds. But again, officials right down there, makes it 4th and 1 on the call. And I think the Crusaders, like you were saying, want to get as many offensive plays in as they can.
Well, and they want to keep the Pirates from getting the ball back for sure.
Obvious quarterback keeper situation as King is able to muscle his way
through. His second effort really made the difference as he kept ooching down the line of scrimmage towards the Pirates sideline until he found a soft spot and lunged forward for a gain of about 1.5 yards, maybe 2. First down at the 39.
And the clock keeps moving here despite the chains moving at 8:09 left to play in the 4th. 2 men in the backfield for King. 2 receivers to the left side, a single receiver to the right. It's Romello Cook. Hamilton shifts over to the right side after the new play comes in. 20 seconds on the play clock as King takes a snap, play action, and a throw over to the right side. It's completed at the 30, and
Big
a first down for the Crusaders.
Number 89. Oh, it can't be 89. It's 88, Connor Mullins.
So Mullins gets the ball to the 25 after some yards after the catch.
They're going to take as much of the play clock each play as they can. We mentioned that. Pirates got to reach for the ball defensively, try to strip it out.
Quick pass to the right side on 1st and 10. It's completed at the 20, and a solid job by Terry to make sure that catch by Cook doesn't go anywhere after the catch. And brings up second down.
It's a nice gain on first down, though. 5 yards, you'll take that every time.
Under 7 minutes to play here in the fourth. Crusaders are going to add on to their 38-7 lead. Blitz being shown by Southwestern. King will roll to the left side as he tucks it and runs and just runs into some Pirates. I think that was his game plan. If he didn't have a block to follow, he'll just hit some bodies, and he pinballs to the 17-yard line, and that brings up third down.
Showed good patience as he moved down the line of scrimmage, again waiting for the soft spot to open up. When he couldn't find a block, he just leaned forward and picked up about 3 yards. He's a big guy. 6'3", 225. Transfer from Howard Payne. Another ASC opponent.
Under 6 minutes to play here. 3 seconds on the play clock. King's going to have to hurry to avoid the delay of game, and he gets it off just in time. A quick pass out to the left side. It's caught in the flats and is a solid gain by Jalen Jenkins before he is brought down on the play. A nice tackle made by Easton Feller.
And it just shows the reach of Mary Hardin Baylor in their recruiting. The kid from Florida coming in late to make a first down catch.
1st and 10, ball on the 13-yard line for King and the Crusaders as they're in the red zone. And they've just been milking the clock on this drive. 5:26 left to play in the fourth. King drops back after the play action. He'll roll out to the right looking for the end zone, and coming out of the end zone to make the catch is Cook. He'll be down at the 1.
That was a great effort. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Crusaders, and they have plenty of time to add to their lead.
1st and goal from the 2. And with a guy like King in a quarterback, I wouldn't be surprised to see a direct snap and a run for him.
Maybe even a Tebow pass here where he fakes a run and shot puts it to an open receiver at the back of the end zone.
Seems to be the style of quarterback he is. Definitely a run-first quarterback, big, thick man to bring down, and it will be a designed run around right end, and he will be stopped short. Wrapping him up from behind and stopping his momentum was Nick Hackett.
Hackett having a pretty good half for the Pirates here. Making some noise in the middle against a really big offensive line from Mary Hardin Baylor.
2nd and goal from the 1.
Turnover would be nice.
Right.
They're going to burn down the clock as much as possible here. We're right at 4 minutes.
8 seconds on the play clock for King. He'll try the same play again, stretches it out to the right side, and then he is brought down from behind as Terry was going to stop him, and then a nice stop there by Peyton Ludeman. Good to see him back out on the field.
Major George there as well, number 38, making sure that he stopped the momentum towards the goal line. It's going to be 3rd and goal, 2 yards to convert. Big play here for the Pirates.
Miller to the right, Hamilton to the left of King, and zone read. Keeper for King lowers his shoulder into the end zone. Touchdown, Crusaders.
That probably should have been the way he ran the first couple of plays, straight ahead. He's not much to put moves on you. He's, as we mentioned, King 6'3", 225-pound transfer from Howard Payne, running straight ahead. He's a load.
3:22 left to play in the fourth before this kickoff by Avila. Avila gets the hold and sends it through as the day is not quite done there for Tommy Bowden. He was the holder, and he was pretty much done somewhere in the third quarter as quarterback, and it's 45-7, a big part to Tommy Bowden, and the Pirates will get the ball back with 3:22 left to play in the fourth.
Always interests me that your starting quarterback would be your holder.
Usually it's the backup.
Generally it's the backup, and sometimes it's not even the backup. It's a punter or another kicker or maybe even a wide receiver, because the risk of your quarterback getting injured in especially a block kick situation is pretty good. So, typically you want to keep them off the field for stuff like that, but Coach Fredenberg obviously trusts him and hasn't found somebody to take his place to this point.
They announced that Akeem Jackson is the player of the game for the Crusaders. They have a lot of options, but he's definitely made his impact known from the linebacker position for the Crusaders.
Sure. Double-digit tackles in the solo category for sure, and likely double digits in the assist as well. I can think of about 6 this half that he's made.
Avila will kick this back. It's Norris and Garza back deep to receive. Garza will watch this one bounce in the end zone, and that'll be a touchback.
That's one way to eliminate the threat of kick returns. The Pirates have good kick returners, and we've seen the Crusaders basically neutralize that weapon today and prevent any real returns from the Pirates. We'll see what the offense can do here.
1st and 10 for Landry Gilpin and the Pirate offense. Johnny Tseig, the running back, and Gilpin will try and find Castilleja. And Castilleja could have gotten another touchdown, and just off the mark by Gilpin on the pass. Incompletion stops the clock at 3:17 and brings up 2nd down.
He saw him as soon as he was releasing the pass make a little bit of separation. He just slightly overthrew him. And you're right, Castilleja has the kind of speed that he could have turned that into points.
He got past the secondary. Trips right, single receiver to the left. Dawson Gonzalez, the running back. Gilpin fakes the handoff to Gonzalez, and he'll roll out to the right, throws it deep down the field, and that one is intercepted. Taking it back at the 40, the 45-50, cutting back to the 40 in his own territory, and gets across the 35 before he's finally brought down by the intended target at the beginning of this play, Mason Biggers, the interception made by Jackson Sinee.
The good return after the interception as well. The pass from Gilpin just a little bit short. He could have put a little bit more on it. That might have been a more makeable catch for the Pirates. Now the defense back out on the field after being on the field significantly in this quarter, all in one drive the last series. So they're gassed a little bit.
2:59 left to play in this fourth quarter.
New quarterback Ryan Redding out of New Braunfels for the Crusaders.
Redding will fake the handoff to Montana Miller, rolls out to the right, throws it as he's under pressure, and it just goes way out of bounds.
That's what happens when you don't set your feet. It just floats on you, and that's exactly what happened to Redding. Good pressure from the Pirates, forcing a bad throw.
And that stops the clock at 2:52. 2nd and 10, ball into the 34-yard line, Pirates territory. Pass over to the left side. It's caught and trying to make a move with the 15, down to the 20, and another reception for Brandon Jordan as he gets into the red zone for the Crusaders.
Coming out of Carpentiera, California. Never heard of Carpentiera.
Probably somewhere in Los Angeles. They have
Ventura
all the cities
College
over there.
is where he transferred from.
California's a pretty big state. I was just making a joke there. LA has a lot of small towns you never heard of that make it its monster. Here's a handoff to Montana Miller, and Miller is tripped up by Jules Williams to save that from being a touchdown.
Jules Williams and the turf there got Montana Miller.
2:23 left to play here in the fourth quarter. 45-7, Crusaders looking to add on to their lead here with a first and goal from the 6-yard line. Redding will change the play. Lets his offensive line know the new instructions. And Montero Miller gets the handoff, evades one tackle from Century, and then bounces into the trenches for a gain of 2.
London there making noise, unable to wrap up Miller, though.
Second and goal here. They're content letting this clock tick with 1:40 left to play in the ball game, and obviously going to improve to 2-0 for the Crusaders. And a fake handoff to Hamilton will leave Redding to be brought down.
Lund will get him a sack.
Well, not bad there, as he also combines on the play with Malik McDonald. And that brings it back to the 10, so third and goal from the 10-yard line. One minute straight up to play in the ball game. 45-7. Crusaders with the lead. Redding will drop back, scans to the left, floats this one in the end zone, and it is caught by Jordan.
They're going to say he got a foot down, too.
Touchdown for the Crusaders.
You can see the footprints on the white there outside of the inbounds area, but that one looks like it might have drug inbounds, so they definitely gave him the score with the call. Great effort regardless. Good coverage as well.
Jules Williams had a great coverage. Yeah,
yeah,
just it's hard to defend height, and Jordan Williams, or excuse me, and that catch was made by Brandon Jordan, and he's 6'6", so that's a tough one to try and match up against.
Well, Williams had good air. It just wasn't quite enough to get a hand on the football, and great effort by Jordan bringing it in.
Avila with another extra point, and it's 47 seconds left to play in the fourth, a 52-7 lead for the Crusaders.
Williams lists at 5'9", Jordan at 6'5", and that's a big difference. That's 8 inches difference for Williams to be as high and as close to that football as he was. That's a great effort. Got 47 seconds here remaining in regulation. Likely be some type of squib kickoff, but they may boot it into the end zone as well. Avila has demonstrated he could do that easily, regularly.
Yeah, I imagine that this might be the final time we see Avila, as well as a opportunity for the Pirate offense to go back out there, as Avila will tee it up at the 35-yard line. And a successful home opener for the Crusaders. Norris and Adrian Garza back deep here, as Garza will call for the fair catch inside the 5, and that'll put the Pirates at the 25.
We get to see a couple of offensive plays here.
Well, exactly, and like you were saying, every opportunity out there is a good one.
Well, in this odd season, the Mary Hardin Baylor Crusaders, in any typical season, are going to be a preseason favorite, and this season no different. But the oddness of the season, you want to take advantage of as many plays as you can, because you're not going to get many opportunities.
Coleman Kerr will be in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides. Dawson Gonzalez is the running back. Dropping back, it's Coleman Kerr deciding to run, show off some of his speed across the 30, and he tried to slide. I think he lost his footing, but still picked up the first down.
39 seconds. Colby Cashin is the running back, a freshman out of College Station High School, 5'9", 200 pounds.
Coleman Kerr with the quick huddle. As you said, Cashin To his left, 2 receivers on both sides. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Pass from Coleman Kerr. In fact, he'll just decide to tuck it and take the sack and lose the yards instead of perhaps doing something that he regrets. And
well, he started to his left because there was an opening, but that opening quickly closed as 2 Crusaders filled that hole, and he stopped dead in his tracks and just had nowhere else to go.
That was the final play of the football game. Your final score from Crusader Stadium: Mary Hardin Baylor defeats Southwestern 52-7. Keep it tuned in here to SHN Sports. We are scheduled to have a post-game conversation with Joe Austin, but we'll take a break here as the teams shake hands. I'm Carl Schoening along with Chuck Cracy. Keep it tuned in for the post-game show. We'll have stats, and we'll also have a conversation with Joe Austin if he can make his way up here on his busy schedule.
able to do, and they got some momentum rolling. Came out and really had a strong beginning of the third quarter, and then we wore out a little bit at the end. We ran out of some steam.
What are some of those positives that you can take away and build on going into next week, or the bye week, I should say?
Well, we had a chance to create some really good pass plays. It took us a while to get to them. I got to get a couple first downs to kind of get into your offense and move some of their players to where you want them to be. We didn't hit them all, but we had a chance for some really good chunk pass plays, and I think that's something we're going to try to do for the remainder of the season. And then just sporadically, some really good things on defense that we can really build around. Some good plays by guys here and there. Like I remember Jules Williams, for example, had a great open field tackle on one of their punt returns. So just several things that we can build around. We also got a lot of guys in the game. We played pretty much, not everybody, but pretty close to everybody that we brought. A lot by necessity as the game went along.
When you talk about what is moving forward based off of pretty much getting your toughest opponent out of the way, I imagine, what can you maybe say, okay, the heavy lifting's done, next up on the list?
Yeah, they're always, one of the best teams in the nation, and certainly again this year they are. So I think when you look at history, we've played the two toughest teams on our 5-game schedule. So hopefully we can take this bye week. We've got a lot of minor injuries, some, soft tissue, ankles and whatever, that we'll need to heal up on. And then hopefully we can really get excited and attack this last 3-game stretch to finish up this, mini COVID season.
The development of Landry Gilpin continues to look well. He's really starting to figure it out, I think, here in his sophomore year. Can you talk about some of his play today?
He did some great things. I mean, he had some opportunities, put us in some great positions, made some really good throws. So, yeah, he's continuing to come along. And, he had a very abbreviated season last year. In fact, not enough to even count for eligibility. I mean, it's a medical redshirt year if he wants to use it. Plus, this year doesn't count. I mean, really, he's got a lot of football in front of him and hasn't had a chance to play a whole lot yet. So he continues to get better every week. He's a guy that really does well with reps. So the more that he plays – and plays against guys like this with speed, the better he's going to get. And he's a guy that, he likes to play these guys. He wasn't worried about anything. Even when we got behind, it didn't faze Landry. He wanted to get the ball, go back out, and see what we could do.
Any final thoughts? Maybe the question I didn't ask that you wanted to get to here before we sign off?
No, I think we did a lot of things well. Obviously, we didn't do enough. I mean, the scoreboard, especially at the end we got wore down, it got more lopsided than the game really was. So, it didn't end up being cosmetically good, but I think there's things that we can build upon, but a lot of things to fix. So we'll get those things fixed, and we'll have this normal bye week. We've had some unscheduled bye weeks. Yeah. So we'll have a normal bye week and hopefully have a really strong finish to the season.
Well, we'll see you for the remote Southwestern Football Weekly on SHN Sports Wednesday at 6 o'clock. We're live and always archived afterwards. Coach, thank you for your time, and safe travels back to Georgetown.
Thanks. Same to you guys.
All right. That was your post-game thoughts from Joe Austin. I'm Carl Schoening. Once again, Southwestern falls to University of Mary Hardin Baylor. Everybody have a safe and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night.